Chapter 1879. In an ancient palace hall, dragon chi filled the air like clouds. Smoke spread out, looking ethereal and mysterious. 3 dragon race cultivators whose appearances could not be seen sat on the host's seat. Old men with auras similar to Elder Tianyun's sat on the surrounding thrones. The 3 in the center were the Heaven Dragon Palace's core disciples, the 3 palace masters that ordinary Heaven Dragon Palace disciples could not normally see. The one seated below was a Heaven-class elder like Elder Tianyun. These people had been paying attention to the core disciple test, watching it from start to finish. Not bad. The people taking the test this time are much stronger than the previous one. Nearly all of the 10 chosen can become Heaven-class core disciples. Tianyun snatched away the best seedling Xiao Jinyu. However, there are still Feng Tianyi and Qin Yan. These 2 people are actually not much weaker than Xiao Jinyu. I can tell that they are still holding back. Haha. It is right to hold back. This is just the beginning. Only when the competition started later would they be able to truly compete. Aside from bloodline, Xiao Jinyu gained Tianyun's acknowledgement with his cultivation of the Sword Dao. Little fellow's cultivation of the Sword Dao is pretty good. He still has a lot of potential to be unearthed. However, there is still a gap between these people and Exian, Li Luo, and Zhu Yun, who are already Heaven-class core disciples. I wonder if 1 year will give them a chance to create a miracle. It is hard to say. However, Exian, Li Luo, and Zhu Yun are already too far away. As long as one of these people can rival them, they will be able to bear some pressure in the competition between the 7 outer palaces. That would already surpass our expectations. The few Heaven-class elders discussed in soft voices. It seemed like they all had their eyes on the candidates. However, the 3 palace masters in the center did not say anything. Suddenly, the 3rd palace master on the left said, "You all like those true dragon bloodlines. However, I admire this Xiaochen the most. He does not have any flaws of a mixed blood dragon. Given his demeanor and boldness, even if he is a divine dragon cultivator, everyone will be convinced." A mixed blood dragon bloodline was born lowly. No matter how hard one worked, one would naturally have some flaws in an environment like the divine dragon empire. Inferiority complex, narrow-mindedness, and narrow-mindedness were unavoidable. However, the Heaven-class elders did not agree, shaking their heads silently. They were pragmatic and considered reality. There was an objective difference between a mixed blood dragon and a true dragon in terms of talent and bone structure. Unless it was an extremely heaven-defying existence with great luck, it would be very difficult to make up for this gap with willpower and so-called grace. Although they also valued Xiaochen's boldness, if they really had a choice, they wouldn't waste their resources on Xiaochen. Haha, how rare. 3rd brother, you have always been proud and arrogant, never accepting disciples. You even rejected people with divine dragon bloodlines. However, let me make a bet with you. Even if you appear personally, this person might not agree to it. The person in the middle, the 2nd palace master on the right, revealed a smile as he spoke softly. The 3rd palace master said unhappily, "What a joke. How about we make a bet? If you lose, I'll personally refine 10 divine dragon grade blood transformation pills for you. If you lose, give me your emerald water spirit root." Haha. I was waiting for you to say that. Deal. The 2nd palace master laughed loudly, looking like his scheme had succeeded. When the Heaven-class elders below heard that the 3rd palace master would personally refine pills, their eyes lit up as they looked over. Who knew? When the Heaven-class elders looked over, they saw nothing. The 3rd palace master left in a huff. "2nd brother, it is not right for you to keep bullying 3rd brother like this." The 1st palace master, who had not spoken for a long time, sighed and said softly. 3rd brother had a reclusive personality, proud and arrogant. However, there were some things that he did not understand. He could not tell that Xiaochen was actually the same as him. 3rd brother felt frustrated and wanted to rely on his own strength to let Elder Tianyun know what regret was. Like the 3rd palace master, Xiaochen had an innate pride. Even if they went, the result would be the same. The 1st palace master and the 2nd palace master were both experienced people. With one glance, they figured out what was going on. In reality, The two rather admired Xiao Chen's boldness and strength of character. However, they knew that Xiao Chen could not succeed, so they did not say anything. Only the third palace master, who rarely saw such strength of character, could not help being tempted by Xiao Chen's temperament. I'll give you 3. The divine dragon-grade blood transformation pills that third brother refines will definitely be of 9-star quality. That disciple of yours can use them for breaking through his bottleneck. The second palace master said lazily. After the matter is over, give them to Li Luo. The first palace master, who was sighing earlier, said softly before leaving quietly. Second palace master, give us one as well. Although the heaven-class elders did not believe that Xiao Chen would reject the third palace master's request, they saw that the first palace master believed him. They quickly stepped forward, wanting to ask for a medicinal pill to give to their disciples. Haha, go and ask third brother yourselves. The second palace master laughed loudly, and his figure slowly immaterialized, turning blurry before vanishing from the throne. Back at the plaza, Xiao Chen left swiftly. Holding his core disciple identity medallion, an administrator led him into the inner palace. Xiao Chen, this is the residence that the Heaven Dragon Palace arranged for you. It's right beside a true dragon spirit vein. From today onwards, you'll cultivate here. Every month, the sect will give you a stipend. 1,000 primeval heavenly pills. The so-called primeval heavenly pills are medicinal pills refined using spirit jades and natural treasures. You core disciples can be said to have received a lot of resources from the sect. Inner palace disciples only get 100 primeval heavenly pills a month. These primeval heavenly pills can be used not only as medicinal pills, but also as currency in the Great Thousand Realms. The administrator before Xiao Chen had witnessed Xiao Chen's strength at the plaza, and was exceptionally respectful to him. When the administrator explained, he was very respectful and detailed. Even the residence that Xiao Chen was assigned to was of superior quality. Naturally, it was much better to be close to a spirit vein than far away. The competition in the Heaven Dragon Palace was cruel. Only strength could win the respect of others. Xiao Chen felt extremely satisfied with this. This Heaven Dragon Palace was much stronger than the Purple Flame sect that he had seen before. Right now, this place was very suitable for Xiao Chen to cultivate. Cold Moon Cave. When Xiao Chen saw the name of his residence, he nodded to himself, feeling rather satisfied with this name. The name had a cave, but in reality, this residence was an entire mountain range. The mountain range rose and fell, boundlessly vast. The center of the residence was a courtyard among the peaks. If you need anything, you can come and look for me at any time. Goodbye. After that administrator finished explaining, he performed a cupped fist salute and took his leave. After that administrator left, Xiao Chen looked around the entire mountain range. This mountain range was incredibly huge, boundlessly vast, stretching out endlessly. However, compared to the entire Heaven Dragon Palace, it was not worth mentioning. Such a miraculous scene was hard to imagine in the outside world. After all, this Heaven Dragon Palace was located in Heaven Dragon City. Looking from outside the city, who could imagine that the scenery inside would be so profound? An eye-opener? The Cold Moon Cave happened to be in the middle of the peaks. Its size was equivalent to a city in the outside world. From the looks of it, an expert purposely moved it away, creating a scene of spiritual energy flowing in. The spiritual energy of the surrounding peaks flowed endlessly into the Cold Moon Cave like a cloud. Spiritual mist spread around the residence. Just taking a breath would make one feel refreshed. As for the bottom of the Cold Moon Cave, there was definitely a formation connected to the spirit vein below the mountain range, allowing the core disciples to use the formation to absorb the spirit vein to cultivate. To be able to use the formation to absorb spirit veins to cultivate was truly a wondrous feat. No wonder so many people fought so hard to become a core disciple. This treatment was simply too luxurious. This true dragon-grade spirit vein is probably connected to at least 100 mountain ranges. Even a spirit vein divided into 100 strands can contain such dense spiritual energy. If one could enjoy it alone, the benefits would be unimaginable. Xiao Chen praised. This was indeed an eye-opener. Tang Dan's words from back then were not false at all. With his identity medallion, Xiao Chen leaped into the air, passed through the many restrictions, and arrived in the residence. Then he let out the demon blood vulture, which he had been holding in for a long time. Then this silly bird spread its wings and flew high into the air. As it looked at the vast residence, it felt incredibly excited. It is really strong. Unfortunately, it is all spiritual energy. If it were demonic chi, I would be full with one breath. I would not even need to eat meat. The demon blood vulture flew around. After its excitement, it felt disappointed. Suddenly, the demon blood vulture's sharp eyes discovered an old man walking over from outside. Master, there's an old man who looks like an idiot and is walking over here. He is really foolish. How tiring is it to walk over? How fast can he fly over? Xiaochen was currently familiarizing himself with the facilities of Cold Moon Cave. When he heard this, he did not pay it much attention. Go over and take a look first. Don't let random people in. I'll come over later. Chapter 1880. To show his sincerity, the third palace master did not fly over directly, so as not to appear arrogant. Step by step, he walked over directly. The third palace master also felt frustrated at the second palace master. To think that the third palace master said that he could not succeed. Many dragon race outstanding talents, including those divine dragon bloodline geniuses, wanted to become his disciple. To think that the third palace master could not move a cultivator with a mixed blood dragon bloodline when he personally came out this time. Suddenly, the third palace master frowned slightly. When he looked up, he discovered a large bird flying over. A demon blood vulture. The third palace master smiled faintly and said softly, "This Xiaochen is rather courteous, sending a demonic pet to receive me. It looks like I'm halfway done. Come down." The third palace master ferociously waved his hand, and an irresistible force pulled the demon blood vulture down. Damn it. What's going on? Why can't I move? Who is this old man? Don't step on me. Ah. The third palace master smiled as he stood on the demon blood vulture, and flew towards Cold Moon Cave amid the miserable shrieks. When Xiaochen, who was looking around, heard the demon blood vulture's shrieks, he showed a suspicious expression. Whoosh. Whoosh, whoosh. Xiaochen's figure flashed and he quickly arrived outside the courtyard. When the third palace master saw the demon blood vulture descend, his expression did not change. However, his heart trembled. How is this an old man? This is clearly a senior, even more incredible than Elder Tianyin. His cultivation has already reached the level of returning to one's natural state. I cannot make out his strength at all. I did not know that senior was coming, so I did not come out to receive you. I'm really sorry. When facing someone who could easily kill you with one finger, one had to maintain proper etiquette. Haha. I did not expose my identity. It is already very proper of you to send a demonic pet to receive me. There is no need to be so polite. The third palace master walked over with a smile. Then he arrived before Xiaochen and sized him up. Then he nodded to himself. Xiaochen's white robes were spotless. He did not show fear when facing an expert, nor did he lose the proper etiquette. Not bad, not bad. The most important thing was Xiaochen's strength of character. Only after getting close did he realize that he was not faking it. Xiaochen did indeed have a bearing and boldness that did not belong to a star venerate. The demon blood vulture had long since been frightened silly. It flapped its wings several times but failed to fly. He even fell down a few times, looking awkward and comical. The third palace master frowned and said, "The demon blood vulture is a mutated demonic beast, possessing the bloodline of an ancient ferocious bird. Why is yours a little different?" In the end, he did not say it directly. This bird was a little silly. After thinking for a while, the third palace master said that it was a little different. Xiaochen felt somewhat embarrassed. He could not answer, so he could only change the topic. How should I address senior? What instructions do you have for coming to the Frost Moon Palace? When the third palace master heard that, he cut to the chase and said directly, "This old man is the Heaven Dragon Palace's third palace master. I am in charge of refining medicinal pills and laying formations. This old man has a place in the entire Divine Dragon Empire in these two areas." There was a hint of arrogance and complacency in his words. Xiaochen was slightly startled in his heart. It was actually the third palace master. His background was indeed frightening. According to Tang Dan, the Heavenly Dragon Palace's 3 palace masters were elusive people who rarely showed themselves. Many of the core disciples of the sect had never seen any of them before, so they were not qualified. This was especially so for this third palace master. As he was in charge of refining medicinal pills, his status was even higher. A martial artist's cultivation was lacking in resources. Medicinal pills were the most important of these resources. If one could form a relationship with this third palace master, the benefits would be indescribable. This old man has never taken in a disciple before. I saw your performance in the dueling plaza today, and would like to take you in as a nominal disciple. This great thing suddenly fell into his lap. Xiaochen felt somewhat stupefied. Seeing Xiaochen's expression, the third palace master felt very cocky. There was nothing that he could not do personally. Who knew? After Xiaochen startled awake, he said with some difficulty, "Sorry, I do not have any intention of taking a master for now. Although I am interested in the alchemy Dao and the formation Dao, they are not as strong as the martial Dao." The third palace master was immediately stupefied. "I say, little fellow, are you really not going to consider it? I have already thought it through. As long as you agree to be my disciple, I will use the Jade Water Spirit Lotus as a catalyst to refine a blood dragon pill for you to help you raise the quality of your bloodline. Tian Yun, I see that your bloodline is low and that you require too many resources. Your future potential is not comparable to a true dragon's bloodline. However, with me that is not a problem." Xiaochen said sincerely, "Many thanks for senior's favor. However, this junior does not have any intention of taking a master for now. Since Elder Tian Yun chose Xiao Jinyu, I will use my actions to prove that his choice was wrong. If I borrow the third palace master's strength, he will not be convinced and will think that it is only natural." Although Xiaochen's mental state was rather high, he was still a proud person. Earlier, at the dueling plaza, Xiaochen had performed better than Xiao Jinyu in every aspect. However, Elder Tian Yun still chose him. It would be a lie to say that Xiaochen was not angry. However, there was another reason for Xiaochen to reject the third palace master. This person was ridiculously strong. Xiaochen was not confident of not exposing his blue dragon bloodline, while he was beside the third palace master. If the third palace master saw through him, it would be somewhat troublesome to explain. Even if the third palace master could not recognize his blue dragon bloodline, it would not be good for Xiaochen to be discovered as a dual cultivator. The third palace master was stunned for a while. Then he smiled helplessly and said, "Indeed, I have never won a bet. Never mind, I will not force you. This is the Heavenly Pill Pavilion's Pill Dragon Medallion. With this medallion, you will receive some care in the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Although you cannot become master and disciple, it is fate that brought us together. But it is fate that brought us together. Goodbye." The third palace master left as quickly as he came. The third palace master smiled faintly and vanished from Xiaochen's sight. He appeared very carefree, not showing any disappointment or anger on his face. However, there was some helplessness and regret on his face. As Xiaochen held the Pill Dragon medallion, he felt the third palace master's kindness and love for him. The third palace master's disappointment should not be as easy as he made it out to be. This made Xiaochen feel somewhat guilty. The third palace master did indeed sincerely want to take him in as a disciple. Everything had its pros and cons. Xiaochen had performed well and revealed his strength. Although he had obtained a good cave abode, he had also successfully attracted the attention of the higher-ups, increasing the risk of being exposed. Even though Xiaochen was in the Dragon's Gate, he still had to tread on thin ice. While he was wild and unruly, he still had to be cautious and careful. Right now, Xiaochen needed to raise his strength as quickly as possible. As Xiaochen held the Pill Dragon medallion, he said softly, "I wonder what benefits this medallion has? It looks like I have to make a trip to the Heavenly Pill Pavilion after I come out of the Martial Technique Pavilion." With a casual wave, Xiaochen stood on the Demon Blood Vulture, which was still in a daze, and flew to the Heaven Dragon Palace's Martial Technique Pavilion. Xiaochen had thought about it long ago. The first step after entering the Heaven Dragon Palace was to observe the dragon race's martial technique pavilion. Xiaochen already had an idea of how to choose the martial technique. Right now he just needed to follow the plan and execute it step by step. Xiaochen sent a strand of his spiritual sense into his core disciple identity token. The environment of the Heaven Dragon Palace's inner palace appeared in his mind, so that he wouldn't be unable to find his way in such a huge mountain gate. Along the way, Xiaochen passed through many restrictions. Riding the demon blood vulture, he attracted the attention of many disciples. Within the sect, only core disciples could ride on spirit beasts and demonic pets. The other disciples did not have this right. After a while, Xiaochen landed in front of a heavily guarded and ancient palace gate. There were many checkpoints with defenses at every step. Xiaochen took out his identity token and successfully entered the martial technique pavilion. The Heaven Dragon Palace's martial technique pavilion has a total of 6 floors. Outer palace disciples can only enter the first and second floors. Inner palace disciples can enter the third floor, and core disciples can enter the fourth floor. Heaven class core disciples can enter the 5th floor. Only those with special permission can enter the 6th floor. You can stay in the martial technique pavilion for no more than 4 hours each time. You can also choose no more than 3 secret manuals. The administrator of the martial technique pavilion was very polite to Xiaochen, who held the core disciple identity token, as he explained everything in detail. Xiaochen nodded and said casually, "Someone bring me in for a tour." The martial technique pavilion was too large. Xiaochen could only stay in there for 2 hours. Without someone familiar with the layout, it would waste a lot of time. Xiaochen did not want to waste time. Right now what Xiaochen lacked was time. He had to make good use of every moment. What a big show, the gray-clad administrator thought to himself. However, he did not dare to offend Xiaochen. The more powerful a core disciple was, the greater their background. Xiaochen was very respectful. With one look, it was clear that Xiaochen did not have a backer and could ignore him. The gray-clad administrator called someone over and said, "Bring this senior brother around. If he has any questions, answer them immediately." Yes. That person was not very old and had fair skin. He wore long blue robes and smiled respectfully at Xiaochen. "Senior brother, this way please. I'll bring you to the 4th floor." Chapter 1881. This was convenient. However, this floor was the difference between heaven and man. One sect had 1 million people while another only had 1,000. This showed how difficult it was to become a core disciple. Deng Yun's mouth was tied up. He could not say anything for a while, unable to express himself. This clearly showed how high his position was. The cultivation technique recorded in the Jade Strip was called Light of Freedom, a pure lightning attributed movement technique. The so-called light was pure lightning. It had nothing to do with light attributed energy. The world was unfair when dragons were leaderless. How could an evil dragon rule the world? Several people took the initiative to walk over and greet Xiaochen, trying to befriend him. When they met again, Xiaochen had become a core disciple. "Wait for me for a while." Even Xiaochen hesitated as he stood in front of the stone wall. After saying that, Xiaochen walked over and nodded to the group. The first and second floors were exceptionally bustling. There were people everywhere. If Xiaochen became a core disciple, his authority would be equal to that of an inner sect elder. If Xiaochen did not chat now, he might not have another chance to meet Xiaochen after he turned around. The one who called out to Xiaochen was Deng Yun. When those people saw Xiaochen enter, astonishment flashed in their eyes, and they paused for a while. No one had cultivated for the past 1,000 years. Xiaochen entered deep thought. Time was precious. Honestly speaking, there was no need to waste it on this. However, he had not expected it to be so fast. This showed that the competition between the mixed blood dragon bloodlines in the entire Divine Dragon Empire was exceptionally intense and cruel. The sect rules were strict. If one was not a core disciple, one would not be qualified to enter the 4th floor. This was especially so for Xiaochen. Someone even led the way for him, further confirming his identity. When the blue-clad disciple who went to inform Xiaochen saw him go far away, he quickly gave chase. Supreme Dragon Fist. This reputation was really tyrannical. Deng Yun and the others were all stunned, completely dumbfounded and speechless. It was treason and heresy. After this conversation, anyone in the inner sect who dared to offend them would have to think twice. It's fine. This way. Xiaochun. Surprise flashed in Tang Dan's eyes, but she quickly calmed down. She had already guessed that Xiaochun would become a core disciple. Turning his head, he saw Tang Dan and Deng Yunda, whom he had met in the desert. Senior Brother Xiao, speaking of vital qi cultivation fist techniques, there is a fist technique that seems to be tailor-made for you. He did not understand that the mysteries, horror, and danger hidden in the supreme dragon fist were no weaker than the demonic cloud heaven-swallowing art. Xiaochun thought to himself and began to move. Suddenly, a familiar voice caught Xiaochun's attention. The Gale Thunder Steps uses the lightning attribute as the main attribute and the wind attribute as the supplementary attribute. When wind and lightning fuse together, it forms a speed even faster than lightning. With a little more explosive power, he could use his movement technique, and even use his mysterious phenomenon to attack the enemy. The difficulty lies in the high level of comprehension required. One needs to capture lightning during cultivation, which is rather dangerous. Each of the holes had a layer of restrictive spells, and behind the restrictive spells floated a jade slip. The entire Heaven Dragon Palace had millions of Outer Palace disciples and millions of Inner Palace disciples. However, there were no more than 1,000 core disciples. Senior Brother Xiao, which zone do you want to go to? The fourth layer has the most comprehensive collection of martial techniques. There are movement techniques, cultivation techniques, martial techniques, and all sorts of secret techniques. Each category has a subdivision of attributes. Senior Brother, tell me about your situation. I can help you save time. Controlling his vital qi and moving around in a straight line was overkill for his 30 cauldron force. Xiaochun did not mind these people coming over to curry favor with him. However, he could not waste time now. He only nodded slightly and did not say anything. Xiaochun needed a fist technique to bring out the advantage of his physical body's vital qi. Otherwise, it would not be good to waste his vital qi. Among the group, Deng Yunda was somewhat frightened silly. He remembered that he once wanted to kill Xiaochun. However, there were several thousand people, and there were many Inner Palace disciples as well. This was just the tip of the iceberg. Many thanks, Senior Brother Xiao. The consequences of angering a core disciple could be considered to have helped Xiaochun once again. There were very few people on the fourth floor. Xiaochun pointed to the fair-skinned disciple and instructed softly, "Bring me to the secret manuals for fist techniques. Bring me to the secret manuals for fist techniques that focus on vital qi." When the other Inner Palace disciples on the third floor saw this scene, they all revealed envious expressions. When they looked at Tang Dan and the others, they revealed envious expressions. They actually managed to form a relationship with a core disciple. He did not owe this group of people anything. One heavenly fox beast core and a 10,000-year-old spirit herb. He had already paid enough. Congratulations. In the martial technique pavilion of the Heaven Dragon Palace. However, it was indeed rare for one to meet in this martial technique pavilion in the vast Heaven Dragon Palace. The number of cultivators in the Outer Palace was truly shocking. Xiaochun nodded slightly and took his leave. Clearly, the blue-clad disciple had heard of Xiaochun's feat of using 30 cauldron force to crush a holy venerate in 10 punches. Senior Brother Xiao, slow down. Xiaochun scanned the place with his spiritual sense and felt somewhat shocked. This was tailored for mixed blood dragon bloodlines. Those with other bloodlines could not cultivate it at all. Lightning light evasion. A combination of the light attribute and the lightning attribute. It draws on the 9 heavens' great sun divine flame. Under the dazzling light of the sun, it resounds like thunder. Lightning light evasion. 5,000 kilometers. Oh, bring me over to take a look. Senior Brother Xiao, forgive me for being direct. Right now, everyone knew that there were 10 people among the core disciples who directly advanced to core disciple. The deeds of Xiao Jinyu and the others had already spread in their circle. Should they go and choose? Senior Brother Xiao, your soul imprint has already been imprinted on the token. You only need to insert your soul power into it. You just need to send in your soul energy, and you will know the contents of the Jade Strip. The Jade Strip only has a general introduction to the cultivation technique. If you like it, take out the Jade Strip, and you can exchange it for a copy of the corresponding secret manual from the administrator. After a while, Xiaochen looked through 10 odd lightning-attributed movement techniques. Then he chose one of the Jade Strips. Xiaochen was arrogant and unruly. Many people admired his boldness. When Xiaochen reached the 3rd floor, there were fewer people. Only inner palace disciples could enter this place. This was a fist technique created by a mixed-blood dragon cultivator, who was extremely dissatisfied with the Divine Dragon Empire's current situation. At this moment, Xiaochen had just climbed the stairs to the 4th floor. When he turned his head and saw the group, he felt somewhat stunned. Xiaochen, no, senior brother Xiao Wei. Ding Yun and the others rejoiced and relaxed, no longer as nervous as they were at first. They quickly thanked Xiaochen. Xiaochen smiled but did not explain anything. Xiaochen needed this light of freedom not to cultivate, but to complete his thunder dragon steps. The vast and mighty group of dragons roams the world, entering the sky and entering the sea. Who is honored? The group of dragons is leaderless in the 4 seas and 8 directions. The world is unfair, and the evil dragon rules. Who is honored? When luck is not on your side, your life is worth less than paper. What is supreme? In the entire world, only I am honored. Soon, the blue-clad disciple brought Xiaochen to a stone wall. Then he pointed to the highest cave and said, "The fist technique recorded in the Jade Strip is called the Supreme Dragon Fist. I heard that it was created by a senior, who became a Supreme Heaven Dragon. It is comparable to a heaven-ranked martial technique, majestic and tyrannical. Unfortunately, my Heaven Dragon Palace has not produced a core disciple who focused on cultivating the physical body for more than 1,000 years already. Many people are tempted by it. However, due to the harsh conditions, they have no choice but to give up." Tang Dan and the others stared blankly at Xiaochen for a long time, feeling dazed. This group of people is very rude. They are not even calling me senior brother. Senior brother Xiao, do you know them? If you do not, I can help you chase them away. Xiaochen bluntly said that the other party chose the wrong person in front of Elder Tian Yun. Inner palace disciples and core disciples looked like there was only one level of difference. This was especially so for Xiaochen, who blocked Xiao Jinyu's sword strike with 2 fingers. This was even more shocking. We walk the same path but walk different paths. This sentence appeared in Tang Dan's mind again. Xiaochen nodded. This was what he needed. Let's go and look at the lightning-attributed movement technique first. These words filled Xiaochen's mind, preventing him from thinking about that weak, white-clad youth from the desert 2 months ago. Being a core disciple represented one's identity, status, and power. Clearly, this blue-clad disciple before Xiaochen did not know much. Xiaochen said softly, "The few of you don't have to hold a grudge against me. Come over and help me pass on a message. Tell them to stay on this level twice as long as they did before." After a while, Xiaochen arrived before a stone wall. The ancient stone wall had many holes in it. Seeing that Xiaochen chose this movement technique, the blue-clad disciple beside Xiaochen said softly, "This light of freedom is just an inferior grade earth-ranked martial technique. It does not have much potential. Let's switch to a peak grade earth-ranked martial technique." The disciple leading Xiaochen asked. "Yes, senior brother." If Xiaochen rashly cultivated this fist technique, it would cause a huge commotion. This fist technique hid a dissatisfaction with the current dragon race orthodoxy. That person was rather tactful. He knew that core disciples represented the sect, so he quickly went to inform Xiaochen. "You are too polite." Aside from needing a cultivator of the physical body, the harsher requirement was probably the tyranny materialized from overwhelming resentment contained in this fist technique. This resentment was too berserk. If one had great boldness, perseverance, and pride to suppress this resentment, one would definitely enter a state of berserking qi deviation. Core disciple. Core disciple. The divine lightning transformation is a pure lightning-attributed movement technique. One needs a strand of divine lightning to cultivate it. Chapter 1882. Senior brother, is this fist technique not to your liking? The blue-clad disciple asked softly when he saw Xiaochen hesitate. Xiaochen recovered his wits. Let's go with this. With my strength, I should be able to suppress the resentment hidden in this fist. I have already chosen a fist technique and a movement technique. I do not need a saber technique. I also have the divine dragon body tempering art for body tempering. It seems like I do not need the rest for now. Let's choose another secret technique. Secret techniques were normally very difficult to practice. However, once one succeeded, one would immediately have a life-saving killing move. After a while, Xiaochen arrived before a stone wall. There were 4 words written on the stone wall. Dragon's Gate Secret Technique. Xiaochen did not rush to choose. He chose slowly and seriously. Firmament's Rage. Using the special characteristics of the dragon race bloodline, one can cultivate the 5 fingers into the indestructible ancient dragon fingers. After that, one can open up one's great Tao energy and infuse the 5 elements into the fingers. With one claw, a colossal hand holding up the sky appears like the firmament is raging. When cultivated to the highest level, one can form a nation by opening one's 5 fingers. Alright, this is it. Senior brother, this is the secret technique of my Heaven Dragon Palace that requires the highest comprehension ability. Right now, in the entire Heaven Dragon Palace, only the first palace master has cultivated it to great perfection. The others all have some flaws, unable to cultivate it to great perfection. When the blue-clad disciple saw Xiaochen choose this secret technique, he frowned slightly and reminded him. At the same time, the blue-clad disciple felt suspicious. This senior brother Xiaochen's choice of cultivation techniques, martial techniques, and secret techniques is really strange. For the movement technique, Xiaochen chose Light of Freedom, which had a low comprehension ability. However, for the secret technique, he chose the magic skill, which had the highest comprehension ability. Since the first palace master can successfully cultivate this cultivation technique, it means that this cultivation technique can be cultivated. Xiaochen felt strong confidence. High comprehension ability. Xiaochen wanted to challenge the secret technique with high comprehension ability. He casually chose Light of Freedom, because he needed to complete the Thunder Dragon steps. Xiaochen had already reached the quota of 3 jade strips. He no longer qualified to choose. After returning to the first floor of the Martial Technique Pavilion, Xiaochen handed the jade strips to the gray-clad administrator to exchange for the corresponding copies. Supreme Dragon Fist? When that administrator saw the jade strip for the Supreme Dragon Fist, he gave Xiaochen a strange look and muttered to himself. What's wrong? Can't I choose this fist technique? The gray-clad administrator quickly said. That is not the case. In the past, many people chose to cultivate this Supreme Dragon Fist. In the end, they all entered berserking chi deviation and did not end up well. It has already become a forbidden technique, so I have to tell you to choose carefully. Many thanks for the reminder. However, I still want to choose the Supreme Dragon Fist. Since Xiaochen already made his decision, his heart naturally could not waver. Otherwise, he might not be able to practice the Supreme Dragon Fist. Heaven's Wrath? When the gray-clad administrator saw this, he did not say anything more. When he saw Firmament's Rage, he could not help smiling bitterly. Xiaochen, your choices are really, one stranger than the other. This Firmament's Rage was not something that just anyone could successfully cultivate. Even geniuses with divine dragon bloodlines would not be able to successfully cultivate it. As for mixed blood dragons, I have never heard of any successful cases. Not only does this secret art have a high requirement for comprehension, but it also has a high requirement for bloodline. Xiaochen smiled faintly. That's it. Bloodline? Xiaochen had a divine dragon bloodline to begin with, not a mixed blood dragon. Needless to say, other than the little monk who had a heaven-defying body, Xiaochen had never seen anyone with a better comprehension ability than him. Core disciples have 3 chances to choose the martial skill pavilion for the first time. However, that's a bit difficult. You'll need a huge amount of contribution points to exchange for them. The Grey Deacon asked one last time. Are you sure you won't change your decision? No change. Without saying anything more, the gray-robed administrator took out the corresponding copy of the secret manual and passed it to Xiaochen. He made the latter swear on his heart demon that he would not teach it to anyone else before allowing him to leave. As the gray-clad administrator looked at Xiao Chen's back, he shook his head. Although you, Xiao Chen, have boundless potential, becoming a core disciple at the Star Venerate realm, you are not a core disciple. However, how could an ordinary person control Firmament's rage and the Supreme Dragon Fist? That was too big of a step. After leaving the martial technique pavilion, Xiao Chen sat on the demon blood vulture and went to the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. When Xiao Chen showed the Pill Dragon medallion that the third palace master gave him, he was immediately given a grand reception. Even the pavilion master personally came out. The Pill Dragon token. Only the third palace master is qualified to give it to others. That's right, it was given to me by the third palace master. Xiao Chen retrieved the Pill Dragon token from the third palace master's hands. Truthfully speaking, he had the intention of using the third palace master's name to obtain benefits for himself. But then again, this was the third palace master's intention in giving him the Pill Dragon token. Furthermore, there was no such thing as angering the third palace master by doing so. The expression of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion's pavilion master, whose cultivation was much higher than Xiao Chen's, changed slightly. He said respectfully, "So that's how it is. Why are you here?" "I'm here to collect my stipend. I also want to ask how to exchange for primeval heavenly pills." The pavilion master smiled and said, "It's a small matter. I can give you your stipend right now. For such a small matter, there is no need for you to come personally in the future. I'll get someone to deliver it to you." "Many thanks, pavilion master. As for exchanging for primeval heavenly pills, that's easy. As for exchanging for primeval heavenly pills, 500,000 inferior grade spirit jades can be exchanged for one primeval heavenly pill. Medial grade spirit jades only require 10,000, and superior grade spirit jades only require 100. Xiao Chen thought for a while. Including the spoils of war from the Holy Venerates, he had close to 200 million medial grade spirit jades and 30,000 superior grade spirit jades. Forget about the superior grade spirit jades. It was not worth it to keep them for himself to exchange for primeval heavenly pills. Of the 200 million medial grade spirit jades, he would keep only 50 million and exchange the rest. After the handover, including his stipend, Xiao Chen obtained a total of 15,000 primeval heavenly pills. That was more than a year's worth of stipend for the other core disciples. It was a vast fortune. After all, many core disciples did not use all the stipend they received for cultivation. They still had to bribe their superiors and buy other cultivation resources for themselves. The stipend could not be completely used for cultivation. However, Xiao Chen was different. He truly lived up to being the disciple that the third palace master fancied. He had an extraordinary background, easily giving out more than 100 million medial grade spirit jades. A regular holy venerate would only be worth this much. However, Xiao Chen was just an insignificant star venerate. "Here. This is a gift for you for having the Pill Dragon medallion." The pavilion master revealed a smile and handed a jade bottle to Xiao Chen. Then he opened it and took a look. There were exactly 2,000 primeval heavenly pills in there, no more no less. Xiao Chen did not stand on ceremony. The demonic cloud heaven-swallowing art required an astronomical amount of spiritual energy. No matter how many primeval heavenly pills he had, he would not find it too much. After walking out of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion, Xiao Chen sighed in his heart. It was much more convenient to have someone protecting him in the sect. The third palace master only gave him one Pill Dragon medallion, and it allowed him to do things very smoothly. Furthermore, there were other benefits. Xiao Chen easily obtained 2 months' worth of stipend from the others. Let's go back to Cold Moon Cave. After this, Xiao Chen should enter closed-door cultivation and consume the benefits that he obtained from this Heaven Dragon Palace. At this moment, Xiao Chen's ambition soared. However, he did not let it get to his head. He followed his plan step by step. Mountains surrounded Cold Moon Cave. The spiritual energy was like an immortal fog. Whoosh! Xiao Chen opened his palm, and a scarlet medicinal pill containing boundless energy and a berserk aura appeared in his palm. This was one of the 8 supreme treasures that Xiaochen obtained from Xiaochen's pillar of divine flame. Beast blood pill. The demon blood vulture was stunned. As it looked at this medicinal pill filled with a demonic nature and a berserk aura, it immediately drooled. Master, why did you not take this out earlier? If I swallowed it, I would have advanced to holy venerate long ago. The demon blood vulture asked in extreme dissatisfaction, feeling aggrieved. Xiaochen retorted calmly, what do you know? Although the cultivation paths of cultivators and ferocious beasts are different, the principles are roughly the same. Instead of properly tempering yourself as a late-stage star venerate, you swallowed this medicinal pill. It would definitely do you more harm than good. After accumulating your strength, you can take advantage of the situation to break through. Only then can you bring out the beast blood pill's effects to the greatest. It will not leave behind any future problems. This is the best for you. Take it. Xiaochen waved his hand and handed the beast blood pill to the demon blood vulture. The demon blood vulture immediately swallowed it in one gulp. Boom. The demon blood vulture's body immediately swelled up. 10,000 beams of scarlet light burst out of its body, illuminating the entire cold moon cave. However, the golden line on the demon blood vulture's tail feathers did not disappear amid the scarlet light. Instead, it looked even more piercing. This strand of golden light vaguely seemed to outshine the scarlet light. When Xiaochen saw this scene, he nodded slightly. After this closed-door cultivation, his strength would definitely improve significantly. If the demon blood vulture did not improve, it would not be able to keep up with him. Supreme Dragon Fist, 5-finger magic skills, and 17,000 primeval heavenly pills. Xiaochen looked forward to digesting all this and seeing how far he could go. Chapter 1883. From Easy to Difficult. Xiaochen decided to practice Light of Freedom first to complete his Thunder Dragon Steps. Xiaochen had created Thunder Dragon Steps himself, and did not have a complete sequence. Furthermore, many of the cultivation techniques in the Heaven Dragon Palace had been perfected through the hard work of several generations. Perhaps Xiaochen could cultivate Thunder Dragon Steps on his own, but he could not make it into a secret manual and pass it down. This was the difference. What Xiaochen needed to do now was to perfect Thunder Dragon Steps. Light of Freedom was a lightning-attributed movement technique. When cultivated to great perfection, one's entire physical body would turn into a flash of electric light. In a few breaths, one could travel 500 kilometers in the clouds. The more profound aspect of this movement technique was the word freedom. Lightning could not be controlled. It was not like wind or other energies. If one specified a direction, lightning could not change directions. Although it was fast, it moved in a straight line. However, Light of Freedom could be controlled freely within a short distance, allowing one to change directions at will. However, its weakness was rather obvious. One could only turn into a bolt of lightning. When one turned into lightning, one's attacks were extremely limited. Hence, this movement technique was excellent for fleeing and traveling. However, it was limited for killing enemies. Xiaochen flipped open the secret manual and seriously comprehended it. The Thunder Great Dao's Dao disc silently unfurled. The purple Dao disc gave off a gentle light, flickering slightly as the pages flipped. Xiaochen did not deliberately control it. Thunderclouds gathered as he comprehended. Occasionally, lightning tore through the sky. Night and day alternated. Day and night alternated as Xiaochen flipped through the Light of Freedom secret manual again and again. Xiaochen's eyes were like stars, shining with the light of wisdom. It was like he could pierce through space and time, seeing the scene of the creator of this secret manual cultivating this movement technique. 7 days later. The petrified Xiaochen closed the secret manual, and the light in his eyes vanished. Xiaochen withdrew the Dao disc behind him into his body, and the mysterious phenomena around him vanished. The world turned quiet. Whoosh. Without any warning, Xiaochen's body suddenly turned into motes of electric light, combining into a flash of bright electric light. With a whoosh, the electric light soared to the wall. In the next moment, it turned back into Xiaochen's physical body. Puchi. After standing still, Xiaochen spat out a mouthful of blood, but a faint smile appeared on his face. So that's how it is. It took him 7 days to master a mid-grade earth step cultivation technique. This was his first time using it, so he was slightly unfamiliar with it and ended up injuring himself. When this movement technique transformed into lightning and reassembled itself, there would be a moment of pause. Otherwise, if he were to reassemble it too quickly, he would injure himself. The risk was rather great. This movement technique is really powerful. Only those with the dragon bloodline can cultivate it. If other martial artists want to cultivate, without the powerful recovery ability of the dragon race, they are simply courting death. Xiaochen muttered to himself. In the next moment, his body transformed into a bolt of lightning and dashed to a mountain peak in the mountain range around Cold Moon Cave. Whoosh! When his body reformed, Xiaochen turned into a bolt of lightning and leaped into the clouds. Hua! Xiaochen, who had transformed into a bolt of lightning, suddenly sped up 100 times in the clouds, giving Xiaochen a thrill that he had never felt before. So fast! Xiaochen could not help exclaiming after recovering his figure. However, when Xiaochen checked his veritable essence energy, he could no longer hold back. Inside the 9-star primal core, Xiaochen had exhausted 1/3 of his primal chaos veritable essence energy in just a few breaths of time. If I do not raise my cultivation, I cannot casually use this movement technique. Xiaochen thought to himself when he returned to Cold Moon Cave. No wonder the secret manual specifically said that although this cultivation technique was special, it did not have a high combat prowess. It was only suitable for fleeing. However, if Xiaochen added it to the Thunder Dragon steps, it would be a perfect combination. Xiaochen did as he said, not hesitating at all. In the following days, one could see Xiaochen continuously changing between the two movement techniques in Cold Moon Cave. Sometimes he would turn into lightning and move freely. Sometimes he would ride on a lightning dragon and fly everywhere. However, while the idea was good, the reality was harsh. Xiaochen failed again and again. Failure. 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 After countless failures, the berserk lightning covered Xiaochen's physical body with wounds. However, Xiaochen did not show any intention of giving up. On a certain day after half a month, boom! A strange bolt of lightning suddenly fell from the sky. It fell in a straight line, but when it was about to hit the ground, it suddenly moved along the mountains and rivers. When it was about to reach Cold Moon Cave, this strange bolt of lightning gave off dragon might. Then, it turned into a solid-looking lightning dragon. When the lightning dragon landed in the city-sized Cold Moon Cave, it blasted apart a palace hall. Dust filled the air, and crackling lightning flickered in the air. Carefree laughter came from the thick dust cloud. Ha ha ha! I succeeded! I succeeded! The dust cloud scattered. A white-clad person appeared in the rubble. He appeared fatigued, and his entire body was covered in dust. However, that person clenched his fists tightly. Stubbornness and determination flickered in his eyes. His eyes were clear and bright. I must become a heaven-class core disciple. I must obtain the right to go to Ancestor Dragon City. With hard work and perseverance, one would definitely reap rewards. Again, Xiaochen shouted and shook off the dust on his body. Then he turned into a lightning dragon and soared into the sky. This is it. This is it. After turning into a lightning dragon, Xiaochen rejoiced in his heart. However, he remained frighteningly calm. After turning into a pure lightning dragon, Xiaochen was no slower than lightning. However, it was easier to control, and its offensive power increased significantly. After successfully merging, Xiaochen improved rapidly. After another half a month, lightning suddenly appeared in Cold Moon Cave. In the next moment, it turned into a dragon. Immediately, 9 dragons soared into the sky. Bang! 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 Now the 9 lightning dragons easily broke the peaks of the mountain range and blasted them into pieces. When they landed, the 9 dragons gathered and quickly reformed, revealing Xiaochen's true body. Success. Xiaochen finally revealed a satisfied smile. At this moment, he finally succeeded in perfecting Thunder Dragon steps. After that, he had to follow the framework that he set and cultivate to the peak step by step. Xiaochen had already spent 2 months perfecting Thunder Dragon steps. The commotion that he caused in the dueling plaza should have already passed. Xiaochen did not know that the rich clan disciples who entered at the same time as him should have already made a name for themselves. These people were holy venerates in the first place. After entering this heaven dragon palace, they had great teachers to guide them. After 2 months, they should have improved rapidly and come out of closed-door cultivation. However, that did not matter. These distracting thoughts had nothing to do with Xiaochen for now. Next, it is time to practice Firmament's Rage. Xiaochen sat down cross-legged and took out the Dragon's Gate secret technique, Firmament's Rage. Then he seriously read it. Xiaochen did not think about anything else. The first step in cultivating Firmament's Rage was to temper the 5 fingers, forging them into claws that rivaled those of an ancient divine dragon. Invulnerable to swords and spears, fire and water, tempering them to the point that they were like sharp divine weapons. Xiaochen carefully studied the secret manual, continuously pondering the difficult parts. Many things that ordinary people did not understand or could not understand were solved by Xiaochen's terrifying comprehension ability. Many stars flickered in Xiaochen's bright, clear eyes, looking like the light of wisdom. Due to the impure bloodline, mixed blood dragons find it hard to temper their fingers into dragon claws. Even if they succeed, they will not be strong enough. Hence, mixed blood dragons cannot cultivate this Firmament's Rage. Forging the 5 fingers into the claws of an ancient divine dragon as hard as divine metal, without losing its flexibility, is a contradiction in itself. This is a major difficulty. After successfully forming the 5 claws, I still have to infuse my own great Tao energy into them, filling the 5 fingers with spirituality. This depends on the person. If one cultivates the sword Tao, the 5 fingers will be like swords. If one cultivates the saber Tao, the 5 fingers will naturally be like sabers. After that, I still have to find the 5 elements to supplement them: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Only by circulating the 5 elements can one form a nation. Only then can Firmament's Rage condense space and bring out its true might. Secret techniques were difficult to practice and cultivate. Difficult. 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 This was especially so for Firmament's Rage. It was even more difficult. What the Martial Technique Pavilion's administrator said was true. Clearly, giving up was not Xiaochen's style. Xiaochen had to succeed in cultivating Firmament's Rage. 7 days later, Xiaochen worked hard and finally completed the first step. With a thought, Xiaochen's 5 fingers flickered with azure light, looking hard and sharp. Xiaochen gently slid his fingers across the floor covered in divine materials, and left 5 claw marks. Boom. Xiaochen dug his fingers in and grabbed forcefully, lifting up the entire floorboard. Following that, rumbling sounds rang out endlessly. Pieces of the floor made of divine materials flew up. The formation in the room instantly broke. Saber energy. Xiaochen made his 5 fingers like sabers. Each finger needed to contain an overwhelming saber intent. Naturally, one great Tao energy could not satisfy Xiaochen. He also needed to infuse the Thunder Tao into it, creating an even more horrifying might. Due to the divine dragon bloodline and the advantage of his physique, Xiaochen completed the first step very smoothly. However, the second step was somewhat difficult. Chapter 1884. Xiaochen possessed 2 great Tao energies. Be it the Saber Great Tao or the Thunder Great Tao, they were both great Tao that contained vast energy. If Xiaochen was not careful, he might blast his palm away. The risk was great. However, since Xiaochen chose this secret technique, he would not give up so easily. However, before he infused his great Tao, he had to execute this Firmament's Rage and familiarize himself with this secret technique. Xiaochen wanted to see how strong this Firmament's Rage could be after he completed the first step. He also wanted to see if he made any mistakes in his cultivation. After a while, Xiaochen passed through the underground secret room and arrived at a secret realm in Cold Moon Cave that was used to test martial techniques. This secret realm was modified from the divine nation that a foe god senior of the dragon race left behind. The inheritance and natural treasures in the nation had long since ceased to exist after the passage of time. The Heaven Dragon Palace had cut it into hundreds of pieces and kept them in the cave residences of every core disciple. nourishing them with the underground spirit vein. No matter what kind of damage was done in this secret realm, it could slowly recover. To Xiaochen, this was an illusory world that was both real and fake. After entering the secret realm, Xiaochen arrived at a mountain range with a complicated environment. Then, he circulated his veritable essence energy and executed the Dragon's Gate secret technique. Boom! The moment the secret technique was executed, the azure-colored dragon seal in Xiaochen's spirit pool turned into motes of light and spread out from his body. Materialized by Firmament's rage, a vast star venerate will soared into the clouds and spread out in the sky. Xiaochen used his heart to feel. As he circulated the secret technique, he felt that his will of soul bore the vast energy of a great desolate Aeon ancestor dragon from the great desolate Aeon. Who dares to endure my rage? An ancient, furious roar resounded in the depths of Xiaochen's soul. Rage transcended space and time and reached Xiaochen. Along with rage came vast and horrifying energy. Xiaochen revealed a strained expression, somewhat unable to endure this energy. Even space trembled slightly. Rage spread out in the world. A terrifying aura spread out from Xiaochen's body, as if he bore the rage of heaven. Xiaochen frowned heavily. Rage roared endlessly in the depths of his soul. He tried his best to suppress it, but it was to no avail. Left without a choice, Xiaochen could only unleash Firmament's rage in advance. Bang! With a thought, his 5 fingers immediately became as hard as divine metal, like the claws of an ancient divine dragon. Destroy my wrath. Xiaochen focused on a majestic peak among the thousands of peaks in the surroundings. It was the peak that caused the rage of the great desolate Aeon ancestor dragon to sway. A huge burning hand immediately appeared in the sky, covering half of the sky above Cold Moon Cave. Xiaochen felt that he could control the burning palm in the sky. In an instant, the sweat on his face could not conceal his excitement. Even Xiaochen felt that the power of the giant hand was somewhat terrifying, and he was filled with dread. Without much time to think, Xiaochen exerted a bit of effort to control the giant hand, and held onto the mountain peak. With a gentle tug, Xiaochen pulled the towering mountain out of the ground just like that. Gotcha! When Xiaochen clenched hard, he easily crushed the mountain peak, turning it into dust. The shock waves of energy spread out, and the many peaks crumbled. The many towering peaks were all destroyed. The scene was so scary that it felt surreal. Only when the shock waves swept over and knocked the stunned Xiaochen into the air did he startle awake. Cough! 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 The pale Xiaochen climbed to his feet and coughed a few times. As he looked at the scene of destruction in the distance, he felt somewhat startled. This was truly Firmament's rage. The mountains instantly turned to dust. Only the roar of heaven could do this. In reality, Xiaochen knew that it was not heaven. The power of this rage came from a certain ancient great desolate Aeon ancestor dragon. Firmament's rage was a secret technique that transcended the boundaries of time and space, connecting to this ancestor dragon that existed in the past. It had to be said that the person who created this secret technique was indeed unprecedented. His talent was outstanding and admirable. Right now, what Xiaochen did not know was that all the Dragon's Gate secret techniques were actually in the ancient dragon race remnants. The Dragon's Gate secret technique found an incomplete secret technique, which was then completed by later generations. It was not created by this person. This is just the first step, and its might is already somewhat terrifyingly strong. The process of controlling it is even more dangerous. If I get careless, I might not be able to suppress that rage and injure myself. I have to become more familiar with it before I can execute it. Otherwise, Xiaochen stood up and muttered to himself, calmly analyzing the situation. Suddenly, he felt something strange in his nose. He reached out and gently touched it, discovering blood. Then, he gently swung his hand in the air. A mirror made of veritable essence energy reflected Xiaochen's pale face, bleeding from his 7 facial orifices. Dizziness assaulted Xiaochen. He reached up and touched his head. Then he staggered and looked like he would fall over. Kase. Kase. Xiaochen's internal organs shattered, and waves of pain assaulted him. All sorts of repercussions came one after another, nearly taking Xiaochen's life. At the crucial moment, the ancient blue dragon bloodline surged. Its strong recovery ability stabilized his injuries. Xiao Chen closed his eyes, and a swastika appeared on his forehead. A gentle Buddhist light encased his body. Xiao Chen's feet slowly left the ground. His Buddha nature heart activated the gentle Buddhist might left behind by the Mahasvara Buddha's Sarira in his physical body. Together with the dragon race bloodline, Xiao Chen emptied his mind. As he floated in the air, he felt like he was soaking in water. 1 hour later, Xiao Chen opened his eyes. His complexion recovered its rosy color, and he looked much better. Secret techniques were risky. One had to be cautious when cultivating them. Xiao Chen slowly landed on the ground and reflected on himself. He felt that he had been too impatient. Firmament's rage was an extremely dangerous secret technique. Being impatient was a great taboo when cultivating it. Not to mention Firmament's rage, one had to avoid being impatient with any martial technique or cultivation technique. However, Xiao Chen's strong physical body could withstand the backlash of failure in some cultivation techniques, negligible. After thinking about it, Xiao Chen no longer rushed to practice Firmament's rage. I should stabilize my cultivation first. Cultivation is the foundation. When my cultivation improves, it might be easier to execute Firmament's rage. Earlier, when Xiao Chen executed Firmament's rage, he had clearly felt strained. In the end, he had still forcefully executed it. Perhaps that was the hidden danger left behind at that time. If Xiao Chen's cultivation increased, it should not be so strenuous. He would be able to execute it more easily. It would also be easier to cultivate the second step. He would not have to bleed from his 7 apertures every time. After leaving the secret realm, Xiao Chen went to Cold Moon Cave's cultivation room. The formation in the cultivation room connected to the underground spirit vein. There was no need for spirit stones. Cultivating in the formation core was much faster than cultivating outside. Xiao Chen sat cross-legged in the formation core. Hovering in the air, he used spirit jades to activate the formation. As the formation circulated, the spiritual energy from the true dragon-grade spirit vein underground entered Xiao Chen's body. Boom! The vast spiritual energy was dense, already comparable to medial-grade spirit jades. The quantity was incomparable. Spiritual light radiated from Xiao Chen's body. As he sat cross-legged, he gave off a jade-like glow. Demonic cloud heaven swallowing art. He shouted in his heart. Then he executed the demonic cloud heaven swallowing art, and the demonic cloud seed in his dantian. Immediately, it turned into a black hole that sucked in the vast amount of spiritual energy that filled Xiao Chen's body. Carefree, the demonic cloud seed flickered with a black luster, clearly excited. As the demonic cloud seed circulated, spiritual energy poured in endlessly like a spring. Xiao Chen sensed that the demonic cloud seed would change at any moment. It helped Xiao Chen successfully cultivate the first layer of the demonic cloud heaven swallowing art. However, half an hour later, Xiao Chen felt that the demonic cloud seed's appetite was growing. The spiritual energy from the spirit vein could no longer keep up with the rate at which the demonic cloud seed was absorbing it. An irritable emotion came from the demonic cloud seed. Then it would affect his body. Xiao Chen's state of mind was like water. He calmed down a little, alleviating the negative emotions. This was the reason why those who cultivated demonic arts were mostly people with twisted personalities. However, with Xiao Chen's state of mind, he didn't need to worry too much. He could easily resolve it himself. It's time to use the primeval heavenly pills. Xiao Chen opened his eyes, and a demonic look filled his eyes. With a casual wave, 100 primeval heavenly pills flew out of his storage ring and floated quietly in front of Xiao Chen. Primeval heavenly pills were refined from spirit jades and natural treasures. They contain vast and pure energy. The main body of the medicinal pill was spirit jades. Hence, one could absorb these primeval heavenly pills without any negative effects. It was not without reason that the Great Thousand Realms used them as currency. The demonic cloud seed in Xiao Chen's dantian was already impatient, urging him endlessly. However, Xiao Chen did not panic. He gently opened his mouth and sucked in 10 primeval heavenly pills. Boom! The medicinal pills melted the moment they entered Xiao Chen's mouth. The vast medicinal energy instantly exploded, flooding his body. What pure medicinal energy! Xiao Chen praised in his heart. No wonder these primeval heavenly pills are so precious. They are so expensive to exchange for. They are indeed much better than spirit jades. Even absorbing 1,000 superior grade spirit jades cannot compare to one primeval heavenly pill. The instant the demonic cloud seed absorbed the primeval heavenly pill, it gave off a pleasant feeling. However, Xiaochen also eased this pleasant feeling. This was a temptation. Demonic Tao cultivators often lost their humanity. They did many heartless and cruel things. Yet they still laughed loudly, feeling very pleased. This was the reason why both this pleasant feeling and the earlier irascibility were not desirable. When Xiaochen completely absorbed all 100 primeval heavenly pills, the black demonic cloud seed grew increasingly resplendent. Then it exploded in his body with a boom. Demonic qi spread out from Xiaochen's body, filling the entire cultivation room. Xiaochen succeeded in cultivating the demonic cloud heaven-swallowing art's first layer. Chapter 1885. When the demonic fog scattered, Xiaochen looked inside with his spiritual sense, and discovered the demonic cloud seed in his dantian. Aside from the whirlpools of the purple thunder divine incantation, and the ice fish divine incantation, there was nothing above his dantian. When Xiaochen looked inside his dantian with his spiritual sense, he discovered that there was a demonic cloud bird in this vast and mysterious space. A great desolate eon ferocious beasts demonic might flew around. With just one look, Xiaochen felt fear. The overwhelming demonic might of a great desolate eon ferocious beast inspired some fear in Xiaochen. Fortunately, Xiaochen possessed the great desolate eon dragon race bloodline in the first place, so he did not feel fear or submit to that demonic might. If it were anyone else, they might end up enslaved by this cultivation technique, falling into depravity. With a thought, the demonic cloud bird flew out of Xiaochen's dantian, and immediately grew larger, merging with his entire physical body. Boom! An overwhelming demonic might surged out of Xiaochen's body. At this moment, his body gave off the aura of a demonic Tao hero. With just a glance, one could feel the overwhelming demonic might, and boundless fear spread in one's heart. Explode! Xiaochen shouted, and the demonic qi veritable essence energy in his body poured out endlessly. The demonic qi veritable essence energy gathered above Xiaochen's head. Immediately, he grasped every tiny movement in the space under the demonic clouds. He felt the demonic clouds encasing him, forming a special field. If he fought with someone and formed demonic clouds, he would have a natural advantage. There should be other uses for it, waiting to be explored slowly. If he cultivated it to the peak, he could reach the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's level. Even after death, the overwhelming demonic clouds could encase 100,000 great peaks, never scattering. Suddenly, Xiaochen thought, I wonder if I can execute my light of freedom in these demonic clouds? If I can, it will be a stroke of genius. When used together, it will be like fish and water. Xiaochen decided not to think about this for now. There were many benefits to cultivating the demonic cloud heaven-swallowing art's first layer. After breaking through the bottleneck, his stagnant cultivation could finally advance. As Xiaochen pondered, he consumed some primeval heavenly pills to replenish his spiritual energy veritable essence energy. Perhaps he could cultivate to peak middle stage star venerate within 1 month. Now that Xiaochen had broken through the bottleneck, as long as he had enough primeval heavenly pills, he could boldly charge forward without worry. After arriving at this Heaven Dragon Palace, aside from entering Ancestor Dragon City, there was no other way to enter this Heaven Dragon Palace. One of the main reasons was that he wanted to quickly increase his strength and let all of his previous accumulations explode. Let's do it. Xiaochen closed his eyes and continued to cultivate. However, this time, he circulated the 11th layer of the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation. After cultivating the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation to the 11th layer, the amount of spiritual energy he could circulate was not much less than the demonic cloud heaven-swallowing art. After all, the demonic cloud heaven-swallowing art was only at the first stage. The cultivation of realms was the most boring, and time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. In 1 month, Xiaochen used a total of 15,000 primeval heavenly pills. Xiao Chen's cultivation advanced by leaps and bounds, surpassing his original plans and reaching peak consummation middle stage star venerate. He was only half a step away from the middle stage. Actually, when Xiao Chen consumed 10,000 primeval heavenly pills, he could have broken through to late-stage star venerate. However, he purposely suppressed it. There was no need to take such a big step and spend another 5,000 to stabilize his cultivation and polish his quintessential essence. As an accumulation, it was the best. This is really delightful. At this moment, Xiao Chen felt refreshed. He felt like he had reached an unprecedented peak in all aspects. His current combat prowess was several times stronger than before he entered closed-door cultivation. However, this was also because he had just entered the Heaven Dragon Palace. In the future, it would be difficult for him to achieve such a great effect when he entered closed-door cultivation. As for the delight, it came from his heart. Xiao Chen spent more than a year's worth of stipends for others in 1 month. If word of this spread, many jaws would drop. After the shock, they would definitely feel envy, jealousy, and hatred. That was a total of 15,000 primeval heavenly pills. Right now, not only did Xiao Chen's cultivation reach peak middle stage star venerate, but his primal chaos veritable essence energy also reached equilibrium. He could bring out the Taiji force field again, which was much better than before. After leaving the cultivation room, Xiao Chen entered the secret realm. Inside the secret realm, Xiao Chen executed Firmament's Rage again. This time he executed it much more easily and smoothly. There were no repercussions. The huge drain did not overdraw on Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen still had sufficient primal chaos veritable essence energy, using only 1/5 of it. However, the drain on his soul energy was still somewhat easy to bear. Although his cultivation had increased tremendously, his soul energy had not improved significantly. Only by breaking through to Holy Venerate could his soul energy improve further. After cultivating quietly for 1 month, Xiao Chen's somewhat anxious heart completely calmed down. Now his state of mind was calm and peaceful, like the lake water, calm and at ease. Such a state of mind was very suitable for practicing Firmament's Rage. Neither arrogant nor rash, not in a rush, not disturbed by external things. There was an average-sized lake in the city-sized Cold Moon Cave. Boom! A bolt of lightning howled, kicking up splashes and waves. When Xiao Chen appeared and landed on the surface of the lake, the intense splashes slowly subsided without a sound. There was a saying that one's appearance came from the heart. Actually, the environment would change because of the heart. At this moment, Xiao Chen's heart was as calm as still water. He inadvertently affected the waves and splashes caused by the lightning. With a gentle wave of his hand, the cycle throne appeared, and Xiao Chen sat on it. Xiao Chen started to practice the Dragon's Gate's secret technique, the second step of Firmament's Rage, merging the Great Tao into his palm. This was a process that required patience. Even if Xiao Chen had astonishing comprehension ability and figured out all the difficult parts, he would still fail. If he did not calm his heart, he would still fail. Once he failed, the price would be extremely cruel. His palm would explode. Given Xiao Chen's current cultivation, although he could regrow a broken limb, it would take time. Firstly, it was a waste of time. Secondly, his previous cultivation progress would be wasted. Aside from the Heaven Dragon Palace's first palace master, no one had been able to practice Firmament's Rage to great perfection in the past 1,000 years. There had to be a reason for that. Naturally, the first thing that Xiao Chen needed to condense was the Saber Tao. No matter when, Xiao Chen's attributes as a bladesman always came first. A gentle breeze blew, and the lake water rippled gently. The cycle throne swayed with it. A Tao disc appeared behind Xiao Chen. Then, like a large knife-cutting tofu, he controlled the great Tao energy to flow through the meridians in his 5 fingers. He needed to make his 5 fingers like a saber, filled with the Tao and spirituality. As Xiao Chen focused on the meridians in his fingers, he could not stop with his left hand. He needed to continuously form hand seals to circulate Firmament's Rage. Splitting his attention between 2 tasks was extremely taxing on his mind. Buzz! Suddenly, the hand seals on Xiao Chen's left hand stopped. The lake water exploded, sending thousands of water pillars soaring into the sky. Xiao Chen failed. When he infused his great Tao energy, He did not control his strength well, injuring his meridians. He could only rest for a while and recuperate his meridians before trying again. Failure, failure, failure. Xiao Chen failed thousands or tens of thousands of times because he did not control his strength well, or did not form the correct hand seals. Or perhaps both of them were prepared, but at the last moment, they failed to cooperate successfully. After repeated failures, Xiao Chen's mind became fatigued, easily becoming irritable, and he tried to force his way through. However, he could not do this forcefully. If he did, the consequences would be dire. This was a kind of torture. However, it was also a kind of tempering of his mental state. Several times, Xiao Chen could not help but give up or erupt. However, he endured it. As he looked at the lake water, he calmed his emotions and continued to work hard. During the past half-month, Xiao Chen had already lost count of how many times he failed. He had tried at least 10,000 times. The wind did not blow the calm lake surface, and the leaves did not cause any ripples. On this tranquil surface, there were turbulent waves and turbulent undercurrents. The eyes of the stubborn white-clad bladesman on the throne were always clear, flickering with a determined light. Boom. On a certain day, Xiao Chen's palm suddenly gave off a bright light, and saber intent spread out. Xiao Chen spread his fingers, and tens of thousands of strands of saber chi surged out. The calm lake water got chopped into countless pieces. The lake water looked like it was solid. Thousands of cracks appeared, but the saber intent could not mend them. I did it. Xiao Chen successfully infused his saber Dao's great Dao energy into his 5 fingers. When the light scattered, a Dao seal appeared on his palm and slowly merged into his bones. After failing several times and succeeding, Xiao Chen only revealed a faint smile on his face. He did not rejoice or get overly excited. There was only the confidence of an expert and the innate pride of a white-clad bladesman. Xiao Chen believed in himself. No matter how many times he failed, he would not doubt his ability. 10 days later, the Thunder Great Dao's Dao seal successfully formed on the back of his hand. With a flip of his hand, it could be a saber or lightning. It is time to come out of closed-door cultivation. After Xiao Chen practiced firmament's rage to great perfection, he pushed his right hand toward the sky. A huge palm appeared, flickering with lightning and saber light. It looked like he wanted to break the sky with one hand. Chapter 1886. Xiao Chen had been in closed-door cultivation for more than 3 months. Now that his cultivation and strength had soared, it was indeed time for him to go out and take a look. He also needed to know the latest news from the Heaven Dragon Palace. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After putting away the throne, Xiao Chen moved around Cold Moon Cave a few times before arriving at the front yard. A huge scarlet cocoon radiating a terrifying demonic nature floated quietly in the air in the front yard. This silly bird. I already came out of closed-door cultivation, and it is still consuming the beast blood pill. Could it be that its harvest is greater than mine? Xiao Chen muttered to himself as he rubbed his chin. After some thought, he realized that this might be possible. The demon blood vulture's bloodline had already mutated. If the demon blood vulture's bloodline power was triggered by the energy contained in that mysterious beast blood vulture's bloodline, its improvement would be unimaginable. With a wave of his hand, Xiao Chen placed the scarlet cocoon in the spirit beast pouch, which he used to store demonic pets. Normally, this demon blood vulture could turn into a scarlet ring, which was much more convenient to wear than the spirit beast pouch. Xiao Chen normally did not need the spirit beast pouch, but he had to use it today. The moment Xiao Chen left the courtyard, he discovered an inner palace disciple not far from the entrance, feeling strange. This inner palace disciple sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, cultivating his cultivation technique. With one look, it was clear that he had been here for a long time. What are you doing? That inner palace disciple opened his eyes. When he saw Xiao Chen, he quickly stood up and said respectfully, "Senior Brother Xiao, I am here on orders from the mission hall's administrator to inform Senior Brother. Inner palace disciples and core disciples need to do 3 missions every month. If they do not do them for now, they can accumulate until next month. However, the number will increase." So that is the case. Xiao Chen now understood. Every sect had missions. Xiaochen raised his head and interrupted the other party. How long have you been here? I came 2 months ago. However, no one listened to my voice projection, so I waited here. The administrator instructed that if senior brother did not respond, he should be in closed-door cultivation. He instructed me not to disturb him, and just stand guard. The disciples who enter the Heaven Dragon Palace for the first time always enter closed-door cultivation for a long time. After that, everything will be normal. The deacon has specifically instructed us not to disturb and disrupt senior brother's cultivation. The man had been waiting here for nearly 3 months, but he didn't have any complaints. He explained to Xiaochen seriously. Xiaochen nodded slightly. Thank you. How many missions have I accumulated? You are too polite. Senior brother Xiao, you have accumulated a total of 10 missions. According to the rules of the sect, it had to be completed within a month. Otherwise, you'll be punished because you haven't accepted any missions for 3 months. Understood. You can leave now. Yes. Xiaochen thought to himself. With his current cultivation, 10 missions should be enough to be completed within a month. There should be a reward for completing the mission. Coincidentally, Xiaochen was still worrying about advancing to late-stage Star Venerate. As for how to obtain the huge amount of resources he needed, the way of missions was a very good method. Many of the missions in the Heaven Dragon Palace came from the Dragon's Gate's inner sect, which was Ancestor Dragon City. This trial was extremely difficult, but the rewards were equally bountiful. One could obtain a large number of primeval heavenly pills. Primeval heavenly pills. Primeval heavenly pills. Right now, Xiaochen greatly desired these primeval heavenly pills. He needed primeval heavenly pills to buy things. Cultivating his cultivation technique required these primeval heavenly pills as well. The little bit of wealth he had was not enough. He did not know how many primeval heavenly pills he would need to accumulate when he reached late-stage Star Venerate. After a while, Xiaochen took out his core disciple identity token and infused some soul energy into it. Then a map to the mission hall immediately appeared in his mind. As Xiaochen flew, he moved very fast. After a while, the mountain peak where the mission hall was already in sight. Many disciples came down from the mountain. People came and went at this mountain peak, making it exceptionally bustling. Although the sect required disciples to complete 3 missions every month, in reality, many disciples completed more than 3 missions. This was because the primeval heavenly pills that the sect gave out were not enough in the first place. Xiaochen needed to think of other ways. Just as Xiaochen prepared to ascend the mountain, a group of core disciples chatting in soft voices came over. Senior brother Zhang, that group of rich clan disciples that entered the sect 3 months ago, is advancing really fast on the core disciple ranking. Indeed. Most of the top 20 of the core disciples are them. Right now, these people have already occupied their own peaks and are nurturing their own factions in the sect. There's no helping it. These are rich clan disciples. Their strength is extraordinary in the first place, and their bloodlines go without saying. After coming to this Heaven Dragon Palace, they are like fish in water. They will definitely improve very quickly. However, they can forget about becoming Heaven-class core disciples. There are only 3 Heaven-class core disciples. 2 are already decided, and the last one is definitely senior brother E. The leader of this group spoke frankly with assurance. As he spoke, he had blind confidence in his senior brother E. This person looked somewhat familiar to Xiaochen. After thinking for a while, Xiaochen remembered. It was him. That was the person who followed beside Yi Qianyun. The person who once wanted to toss Xiaochen out. The person who felt that Xiaochen was not qualified to participate in the test. In the end, Xiaochen knocked him into the air with one palm strike, causing him to suffer greatly. 3 months had passed, but Xiaochen had not improved at all. He was still a follower. Xiaochen walked straight over expressionlessly, brushing past this group of people. Stop right there. Xiaochen had just brushed past them when he heard a furious shout calling out to him. Someone recognized me? Xiaochen thought to himself. Where did this inner palace disciple come from? To think that you are not bowing when you see a group of senior brothers. Showing no respect for your seniors, showing no respect at all. I think you must be tired of living. However, a loud shout immediately followed, letting Xiaochen know that he was wrong. It turns out that this is the reason. That makes sense. That person thought that Xiaochen was an inner palace disciple, given his low status. When inner palace disciples saw core disciples, they had to greet them respectfully. However, Xiaochen ignored so many core disciples. This was indeed somewhat overboard. However, this was not a serious matter. Far from the point where Xiaochen needed to die. Is there a need for me to bow to you? Xiaochen asked coldly as he turned around expressionlessly. It's you. When this person saw Xiaochen, he was startled at first. Then he rejoiced and guffawed. Ha. So it is the famous junior brother Xiaochen. To think that you have the time to come and take a mission. Why don't you go and challenge that Xiaojinyu? Let's see how Elder Tianyin regrets it. He is Xiaochen? 3 months have passed, and he is still a middle-stage star venerate. It looks like Elder Tianyin did not make a mistake back then. A mixed blood dragon bloodline is indeed a mixed blood dragon bloodline. It cannot compare to the eruption of a true dragon bloodline in its later stages. Indeed. I heard that Xiaojinyu, Fang Tianyi, Qinyan, and the others are already close to peak early-stage holy venerate. In a short 3 months, they improved rapidly. A mixed blood dragon bloodline is still somewhat lacking. Xiaochen was not in the mood to waste time with this group of people, so he turned and left. Junior brother Xiaochen, why the rush? Although you are not a core disciple and do not need to bow to us, we are still your senior brothers. Are you not going to greet us? Disciple Zhang said with a smile as his figure flashed and appeared in front of Xiaochen. While Zhang Yunxian looked like he was smiling, in reality he was gritting his teeth, hiding a murderous intent on his face. Clearly, Zhang Yunxian still held a grudge against Xiaochen for injuring him with a palm strike. He could not let it go, so he wanted to take this opportunity to vent his frustration. However, fighting was strictly prohibited in the sect, unless it was the dueling plaza. Zhang Yunxian wanted to force Xiaochen, provoking Xiaochen into taking the initiative to attack. That way, when Zhang Yunxian made a move to teach Xiaochen a lesson, the situation would be different. The one who violated the sect rules was Xiaochen and not Zhang Yunxian. That way, Zhang Yunxian could vent his frustration. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Xiaochen's figure moved 3 times. However, Zhang Wenxuan pressed on, blocking Xiaochen's every move. Junior brother Xiaochen, I think you should come to this mission hall another day. Zhang Yunxian revealed a cocky smile. As he spoke, the core disciple who was with him appeared behind him, completely blocking his path. Come, obediently address me as senior brother. Perhaps when I am in a good mood and forget about the grudge from that day, I might let you go up, Zhang Yunxian said with a faint smile as he looked at Xiaochen, revealing a mocking expression. Zhang Yunxian stared at Xiaochen, hoping that Xiaochen would not be able to hold himself back. However, he failed. Xiaochen closed his eyes, his expression calm. From the start until now, there had not been any change. Scram back. Seeing that Xiaochen had no intention of getting angry, Zhang Yunxian grew impatient. He reached out to push Xiaochen. However, Zhang Yunxuan's hand was only extended halfway when Xiaochen grabbed it. Zhang Yunxuan's fingers were as tough as divine metal. With just a little force, Zhang Yunxian could not move, and he let out a miserable shriek. You were waiting for this moment, right? Xiaochen, who had been silent all this while, suddenly said indifferently as he looked at Zhang Yunxian with raised eyebrows. Zhang Yunxian should have been overjoyed that Xiaochen had taken the bait. However, when he looked into Xiaochen's eyes, a trace of fear appeared in his heart. As you wish then. Xiaochen grabbed Zhang Yunxuan's arm and pulled. Zhang Yunxuan's body was like a sandbag as he smashed Zhang Yunxian to the ground. Rumble. A huge crack immediately appeared on the ground, and the entire foot of the mountain trembled. When the core disciples who were with Zhang Yunxian saw this scene, they turned pale with fright. They soared into the air and flew towards Xiaochen. One of them shouted, "Hurry up and let go of senior brother Zhang. You have already violated the sect's rules." Many people came and went in the mission office. When they saw this scene, they were shocked. Many people had noticed that Zhang Yunxian and his group had blocked Xiaochen earlier. They thought that Xiaochen would fall into a trap and be forced to make a move before being taught a lesson. Xiao Chen would learn a lesson after suffering a huge loss. However, no one expected Xiao Chen to grab Zhang Yunxian in one move, lift him up, and smash him to the ground. This was simply too ruthless. Everyone was dumbfounded. Chapter 1887. There were a total of 6 people accompanying Zhang Yunxian. All of them were core disciples and early-stage holy venerates. When the 6 of them saw Zhang Yunxian being smashed into the ground like a sandbag by Xiao Chen, they immediately became anxious. He rushed over as fast as he could to save Zhang Yunxian. Boom! The 6 holy venerates soared into the air at the same time. In an instant, winds blew and clouds churned as a strong aura spread out. No one dared to approach the foot of the mountain. Some of the inner palace disciples who were watching the show could not dodge in time, and were sent flying while vomiting blood. Xiao Chen, you're dead. You're dead. Since you dare to attack your fellow disciples in the Heaven Dragon Palace, no one can save you today. After being smashed by Xiao Chen, Zhang Yunxian felt as though all the bones in his body were broken. The pain made him vomit blood. Gritting his teeth, he didn't look like he was going to admit defeat at all. Instead, he laughed crazily, looking terrifying and insane. At the same time, he mobilized all the quintessential essence in his body and struggled desperately, trying to break free from Xiao Chen's grasp. Bang 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 bang. Xiao Chen didn't say anything. He just stood there, and kept hitting Zhang Yunxian. Every swing was stronger than the last. In the end, the ground cracked and the mountain where the mission hall was located trembled. He attacked very quickly. Before the 6 holy venerates arrived, he had already smashed Zhang Yunxian into the ground more than 10 times. Zhang Yunxian was already badly mutilated. He was in a sorry state, but he still clenched his teeth. In the end, he gave up on struggling and only used his quintessential essence to protect his body. Release senior brother Zhang. The 6 holy venerates arrived, each attacking Xiao Chen. Good timing. Xiao Chen smiled coldly. Then he lifted Zhang Yunxian and used him as a weapon, sweeping out. When the 6 holy venerates with surging auras saw Zhang Yunxian's body, they all retreated, not daring to clash head-on. So. With Zhang Yunxian in hand, Xiao Chen would not advance when facing 6 holy venerates. Brandishing Zhang Yunxian's body, he charged forward ferociously, suppressing the 6 holy venerates. What holy venerables? You're just SO. I'll return it to you. Xiao Chen faced 6 holy venerates alone, but managed to beat them into submission. Xiao Chen smiled coldly and infused his veritable essence energy and great Tao energy into Zhang Yunxian, who looked like a dead dog, before tossing him at the 6. Zhang Yunxian's body flew uncontrollably toward the 6 of them. Everywhere he passed, he would not be able to control it. The strong wind shattered the ground and kicked up a layer of sand and stones. The sand surged like a raging dragon as Zhang Yunxian flew towards the 6 of them. The 6 holy venerates all turned ashen. It was clear that Zhang Yunxian's body could not receive it. However, if he did not, his injuries would only worsen. He was unwilling, but he had no choice but to accept it. Let's go together and catch senior brother Zhang. The 6 of them steeled their hearts, and their expressions turned grave. Their auras merged into one, and each of them stretched out a hand. Just as Zhang Yunxian was about to fall, they soared into the air and caught him. Boom! Berserk energy surged out from Zhang Yunxian's body, and the 6 felt their blood and qi churning. They forced themselves not to vomit. After the 6 landed, they took a few steps back before they managed to catch their breaths. After knocking back the 6 holy venerates, Xiao Chen smiled faintly and turned to leave. You want to leave? How can it be that easy? The 6 holy venerates felt very sullen in their hearts. Earlier, they had been suppressed by Xiao Chen in front of so many inner palace disciples. Now that their senior brother Zhang had returned, how could they swallow this? A horrifying killing qi spread out from the 6, and a scarlet light spread out from their bodies. Holy venerates rage. As the 6 stared at Xiao Chen, they activated their horrifying holy venerate wills at the same time, pressing down on Xiao Chen one after another. They completely fell out with Xiao Chen. They did not care that their cultivations were higher than Xiao Chen's, wanting to keep him here. The people at the foot of the mountain all sucked in a breath of cold air. You are not convinced? That's fine. Today, I will make you all convinced. Not just anyone can block my path. Xiao Chen's lips curled up in a smile. The blood in his body surged, and the fighting spirit in his heart blazed. There seemed to be flames burning in his eyes. Whoosh! Right after Xiao Chen spoke, he turned into a flash of lightning in the air. Just as the strong wills of the 6 holy venerates were about to envelop Xiao Chen executed Light of Freedom and left his original spot at the critical moment. When he reappeared, he was already 50 kilometers away, hovering in the air with a smile on his face. There. With a thought, the 6 holy venerates sent out their horrifying holy venerate wills. How fast could the holy venerates' wills be? It was practically impossible to dodge once the holy venerates sent out their wills. However, in the next moment, Xiao Chen's body turned into a flash of lightning and dodged the combined wills by a hair's breadth. Whoosh! 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 As Xiao Chen turned into a bolt of lightning, he whistled through the air, weaving back and forth. Xiao Chen's lips curled up into a smile. It seemed like mockery but also calm. Dressed in white, the surrounding sky follows my whim. I am as free as the wind, as free as light. The 6 holy venerates originally had a surging aura, determined to win. The 6 holy venerate wills covered nearly every corner. They were so fast that they could reach their target with a thought. No matter how one looked at it, it was impossible for them to lose to a middle-stage star venerate cultivator. However, the situation was reversed now. The 6 holy venerate wills should have been able to suppress Xiao Chen calmly and unhurriedly. However, sweat poured down their foreheads, feeling anxious and frustrated. Xiao Chen toyed with them, sending their holy venerate wills back and forth. However, none of them had any effect, leaving the 6 holy venerate wills on the verge of collapse. I've played enough. It's time for me to make a move, right? The smile on Xiao Chen's face vanished as he spoke indifferently. After the 6 attacks missed, they did not move. After the 6 holy venerate wills missed, they saw a bolt of lightning flying towards the 6 holy venerate wills. Just as the 6 holy venerate wills felt uncertain, that bolt of lightning suddenly turned into a terrifying and berserk lightning dragon. A strong dragon might swept out. How can this be? This is no longer Light of Freedom. Damn it. Since when can Light of Freedom become an offensive martial technique? The 6 holy venerate wills, who were physically and mentally fatigued and covered in sweat, could not withdraw their holy venerate wills in time. Flustered, they quickly scattered. In their current state, they could not endure the strike of this roaring lightning dragon. But, can they escape? The dragon roar shook the sky. When the dragon might arrived, it ruled the world. The lightning dragon ferociously rammed into the 6 holy venerates, causing them to vomit blood and fall to the ground. The electric light charred their bodies. The dragon tail swung, and the remaining 3 holy venerates were sent flying. Rumble! 3 loud sounds rang out, and the 3 holy venerates crashed into a mountain peak each. The mountain rocks shattered and were instantly buried. Whoosh! A light flashed, and the lightning dragon revealed its true form. Xiao Chen landed on the ground, dressed in pure white robes. Before the group could exclaim in surprise, several terrifying auras suddenly flew over from the sky. 3 peak early-stage holy venerate experts clad in scarlet robes and radiating terrifying killing intent flew over from afar. It's the Law Enforcement Hall's Blood Dragon Guards. This is problematic. The Blood Dragon Guards are here. With Xiao Chen injuring so many core disciples, he will definitely be severely punished. If he violates the sect rules, he will be severely punished. How unfortunate. This matter clearly cannot be blamed on Xiao Chen. However, he should have exercised some restraint. No matter what, he should not have made the first move. Then, should he have allowed others to bully him? Many of the inner palace disciples who had seen this from the start felt upset on Xiao Chen's behalf. This matter was not his fault at all. Who attacked inside the sect, harming a fellow disciple? The person in the middle of the 3 blood-clad guards demanded coldly. It's him. It's him. It's him. Zhang Yinxian, who had fallen to the ground like a dead dog, jumped up and pointed at Xiao Chen. It's him. It's him. He broke the sect rules and harmed fellow disciples. He was arrogant, making the first move. How noisy! Xiao Chen snorted coldly. Then he waved his hand and slapped Zhang Yunxuan's face, sending him flying. Xiao Chen was like a fly. There was no end to this. How bold of you! To think that you dare to attack before us. Come with us, then. The 3 blood dragon guards' expressions turned cold as they descended on Xiao Chen, wanting to forcefully restrain Xiao Chen and take him away. Scram! Xiao Chen raged in his heart. He spread his fingers and executed the Dragon's Gate's secret technique, Firmament's Rage. A colossal flaming hand immediately appeared in front, covering the entire sky. An ancient great desolate Aeon dragon might travel through time and space, like the rage of heaven. The 3 blood-clad guards were greatly startled, caught off guard. They had not expected Xiao Chen to dare to resist. Pa! Just like that, Xiao Chen ruthlessly smacked the hand down. Then he flipped his hand and pressed it down. Chapter 1888. With a flip of his hand, he smashed the 3 blood dragon guards to the ground, immobilizing them. Such a scene shocked everyone. Blood dragon guards. That was the Dragon's Gate's law enforcement hall, under the direct jurisdiction of the Dragon's Gate. In terms of rank, it was even higher than the Heaven Dragon Palace Hall. Each of the Dragon's Gate's 7 outer palaces was comparable to a peak rank 6 sect. Naturally, the Dragon's Gate's upper echelons had to set up a counterbalance mechanism. Otherwise, if he allowed it to develop, it might threaten him instead. That would truly be digging his own grave. The existence of the Blood Dragon Guards was a thorn that came from the Dragon's Gate, piercing deep into every outer palace. The stronger the outer palace was, the more difficult it was to remove the thorn growing in the flesh. It had a reputation of being a taboo. Every Blood Strike Guard was extremely powerful, and they were in charge of enforcing the laws of the various outer palaces. Today, Xiao Chen sent these 3 Blood Dragon Guards flying with 1 palm strike. This would definitely cause a huge commotion. But no matter what happened in the future, it was now alone now. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. It was not because Xiao Chen dared to anger the Blood Dragon Guards. Instead, it was because he, a middle-stage star Venerate, defeated 6 Holy Venerates and 3 Blood Dragon Guards. Strong. Only this word existed in the minds of many Inner Hall disciples. He's ridiculously strong. Boom. The 3 Blood Dragon Guards struggled to their feet on the ground, showing incredibly sullen expressions. Although the 3 were in sorry states, they were not severely injured. After all, they were peak early-stage Holy Venerates. The Blood Dragon Guards enjoyed even better resources than core disciples, as well as cultivation techniques and martial techniques from Ancestor Dragon City. He was rather old, and his strength far surpassed that of ordinary Holy Venerates. Furthermore, Xiao Chen had only executed Firmament's Rage, not his full power. Furthermore, Xiao Chen had only executed the first layer of Firmament's Rage, not activating the 2 Dao seals in his hands. Hence, he did not bring out its full might. Hua! A scarlet flame blazed in the eyes of the 2 Blood Dragon Guards. They seemed to have activated some kind of secret technique, and their killing chi spread out in an even more terrifying manner. Xiao Chen smiled coldly, unafraid. The atmosphere became tense once again. It was as if there were flames everywhere in the air, igniting and exploding at the slightest touch. The confrontation between the 4 of them was far more terrifying than when Xiao Chen faced the 6 core disciples. At the foot of the vast mountain, there was only silence. No one dared to speak. After a long time, when the Blood Dragon Guard in the middle saw Xiao Chen's gaze, he felt some fear. After hesitating for a moment, he stretched out his hand to block the somewhat rash Blood Dragon Guards on both sides. Lead the way. I'll go to the law enforcement hall myself. Xiao Chen was expressionless as he spoke indifferently. He had to find a way to end this matter. Since he had to deal with it sooner or later, he might as well take the initiative to face it. Sorry for the offense. When the person in the middle heard Xiao Chen say that, he heaved a sigh of relief. The flames in the eyes of the Blood Dragon Guards on the left and right also slowly faded. Such an attitude was a sign of fear and respect for the strong. After making their moves, the 3 of them were no longer as arrogant and haughty as before. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, the 3 of them didn't dare to say anything else. They turned around and led the way for Xiaochun. Whoosh! Electric light flashed, and Xiaochun quickly followed. His expression remained calm, not showing any fluster. The surroundings were silent. Only after the four of them had walked far away did all sorts of discussions begin to ring out one after another. It's Firmament's rage. What Xiaochun executed earlier was Firmament's rage. It is exactly as described in the secret technique. No, it is even more horrifying than described in the secret technique. Aside from the first palace master, no one has managed to practice this secret technique in more than 1,000 years. To think that Xiaochun actually succeeded in practicing it. Furthermore, he easily executed it. No wonder he could defeat 3 blood dragon guards with one palm strike. However, Xiaochun seems to have only reached small perfection. He did not manage to infuse his great Tao into it. If he could infuse his great Tao into it, that would be too heaven-defying. That is absolutely impossible. However, no matter what, Xiaochun will be skinned alive after going to the law enforcement hall this time. How unfortunate. Previously, 2 inner palace disciples broke the sect rules and had their cultivation crippled for 10 years. In the end, the discussions turned from shock to sighs. One would not have a good ending after entering the law enforcement hall. However, in reality, Xiaochun's treatment in the law enforcement hall was somewhat different from what everyone imagined. After the 3 blood dragon guards brought Xiaochun to the blood dragon guards, they immediately reported Xiaochun's matter to their superiors. Xiaochun injured 6 holy venerates in the mission hall, and even attacked the blood dragon guards. He was truly bold. The news quickly spread and startled the law enforcement hall's upper echelon. What? This person is only a middle-stage star venerate? This matter immediately caused a huge commotion in the law enforcement hall, startling the strict law enforcement hall's vice hall master, who had not been involved in matters for a long time, to make a personal appearance. The law enforcement hall's vice hall master had the surname Li. He was a stout old man with a thick beard and an extremely fiery temper. When the vice hall master heard about Xiaochun, he immediately took charge. Vice hall master Li did not go to see Xiaochun directly. Instead, he hid in the dark and observed Xiaochun, who was waiting for his trial. Slowly, a smile appeared on Vice Hall Master Li's face, appearing somewhat playful. Xiaochun, who was waiting for his trial, did not show any expression on his face. Then he took a sip of tea and closed his eyes to rest. After that, there was no movement from Xiaochun. After waiting for a long time, Xiaochun directly started cultivating, not moving at all from start to end. Interesting. He treats my law enforcement hall as his residence. To think that he directly started cultivating. Vice Hall Master Li smiled, making it hard for others to tell whether he was happy or angry. No one knew what he meant. Suddenly, Xiaochun opened his eyes and looked in a certain direction. Vice Hall Master Li's expression changed slightly. Then he dismissed the people around him and said indifferently, "To think that he discovered me." Whoosh. In the next moment, Vice Hall Master Li's figure flashed, and he directly arrived in the room where Xiaochun was. Boom. A pressure immediately appeared in the average-sized room, making Xiaochun feel somewhat uncomfortable. This was not a sovereign personage but Vice Hall Master Li's dragon might. Given his strong cultivation, he did not purposely withdraw this dragon might, letting it spread out. Xiaochun sized up the person who arrived and said seriously, "Senior is really patient, only appearing after 6 hours. This junior feels honored." Humph. Even after arriving at my law enforcement hall, you still do not show any signs of repentance. It looks like you do not want your core disciple status anymore. Vice Hall Master Li became slightly angered. Immediately his dragon might fluctuated, and a true dragon roar came from it. The roar resounded in Xiaochun's ears and penetrated deep into his soul, causing fear to spread in his mind. Xiaochun guarded his heart and easily dispelled this fear. Then he looked at Vice Hall Master Li, who had a strong background and a terrifying aura. Xiaochun asked softly, "Why should I repent? I am not in the wrong." Furthermore, after pausing for a moment, Xiaochun released an overwhelming aura from his body. Then he said, "Furthermore, does the so-called right and wrong really matter? If anyone is in the wrong, they can only blame me for being too strong and them being too weak." Boom. The moment the dragon might from Xiao Chen's body appeared, it cleanly swept away the dragon might that Vice Hall Master Li casually released. Vice Hall Master Li's grave expression suddenly vanished. Then he guffawed. Good, good, good. After saying good 3 times, Vice Hall Master Li said loudly, well said. What is right and wrong? Only the weak need sect rules. The sect rules have always been made by the strong. I still have to say that you beat them up well and beautifully. You overestimated yourself and went to mock them, resulting in you getting beaten up. What else can you do but deserve it? Ha! If you had beaten up those 3 blood dragon guards, that would have been even more in line with my temper. Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat. I made the right bet. As long as I have sufficient potential, I can ignore all the sect rules and precepts. I think highly of you becoming a heaven-class core disciple, and of you entering Ancestor Dragon City. The current core disciples all boast about how strong they are, and how incredible their backgrounds are. This old man looks down on none of them. If you do not have a temper, even if you enter Ancestor Dragon City, you will be nothing. Vice Hall Master Li appeared very bold. His tone showed extreme disdain for the other core disciples. Xiao Chen remained calm. Although there were some discrepancies and the matter was much easier to deal with than he had imagined, this was a good thing and not a big deal. In the future, if you find anyone displeasing, feel free to beat them up. If one day, you even beat up the blood dragon guards like dogs, this old man will directly guarantee your entry into Ancestor Dragon City. Haha. Vice Hall Master Li spoke excitedly, directly giving Xiao Chen the authority to beat up people in the Heaven Dragon Palace. However, I still have to put on a show. I will announce to the outside world that I will lock you up for 1 month and deduct your stipend for 3 months. Just go out and do some missions and not appear in the sect. What do you think? The Law Enforcement Hall's Vice Hall Master spoke in a negotiating tone, not treating Xiao Chen as an outsider. That suits me. Ha. Good. It is decided then. Come, let's go and have a few drinks. To think that you even managed to practice Firmament's Rage. How rare. Chapter 1889. Just as Xiao Chen and Vice Hall Master Li were chatting happily, Xiao Jinyu, Qin Yan, Feng Tianyi, and the other core disciples, who had been showing off recently, received news of Xiao Chen beating up 6 core disciples at nearly the same time. All of them felt shocked and incredulous. To think that he dares to beat up my people. Xiao Chen, you are clearly targeting me. When Yi Qianyan received the news, he was the most furious. Among the more than 1,000 core disciples, everyone knew that Zhang Yinxian was Yi Qianyan's man. The other 6 core disciples were also on good terms with him. In the end, Xiao Chen beat them up. This was especially so for Zhang Yinxian, who was beaten up beyond recognition. Finally, Xiao Chen sent him flying with a slap. This was a tragic sight. If others saw this, they would definitely take it as a slap to Yi Qianyan's face. Just you wait. Just you wait. When I break through to middle stage Holy Venerate, I will definitely teach you a lesson in the Heaven Class Core Disciple competition. Yi Qianyan showed an enraged expression as he tightly clenched his right fist. He wished that he could trample on Xiao Chen right now to regain his face. On the other side, Elder Tianyun personally arrived at Xiao Jinyu's residence and informed him of what happened at the foot of the mountain in the mission office. That's impossible. This Xiao Chen has only been in the Heaven Dragon Palace for 3 months. How can he defeat 6 core disciples at the same time? To think that he even succeeded in practicing the most difficult Firmament's Rage. When Xiao Jinyu heard the news, he showed some fluster on his face. However, he then remembered that Elder Tianyun personally brought this news. In that case, it can't be wrong. Xiao Jinyu quickly apologized. Master, Jinyu did not mean to offend you. Elder Tianyun showed an unsightly expression as he said sullenly. You understand what I mean by bringing you this news, right? Disciple understands. Humph. Back then, this Xiao Chen called me out at the dueling plaza and said that I chose the wrong person. This old man did not lower himself to his level on the surface. However, if you really lose to him, I will lose face. You can forget about remaining in the Heaven Dragon Palace. Elder Tianyun's expression turned sullen, putting heavy pressure on Xiao Jinyu. This disciple will not live up to master's expectations. Give me 2 months, and I will definitely break through to middle stage Holy Venerate. Ignorant. What was the point of cultivation? Unless one was a peak intermediate Holy Venerate, one would not have an absolute advantage over him. That Xiao Chen is just a middle stage Star Venerate. Have you never thought about how he could defeat 6 core disciples in a row? He relies on the Dragon's Gate's secret technique and his own accumulations. Although his cultivation is low, the quality and quantity of his veritable essence energy are not low. Elder Tian Yun felt somewhat disappointed at Xiao Chen for failing to meet his expectations. He paused for a while before continuing. What you need to do is bring out your advantages to the limit and accumulate them properly. You should not be in a rush to raise your cultivation. The 3 heaven-class core disciples of the Heaven Dragon Palace are only early-stage Holy Venerates. However, they can sweep through all the core disciples. Xiao Jinyu seemed to think of something. Master means, after tomorrow, I'll bring you to the sword-sweeping peak. If you can achieve great mastery in the great way of the sword, you'll be able to stab Xiao Chen to death with a single strike. It's 100 times better than you advancing to the mid-stage Holy Venerable level. Thank you, Master. The other core disciples were more or less inspired. Under the guidance of their masters, they all put in effort. All this was for the sake of obtaining a slot in the upcoming Heaven-class core disciple competition. Right now, everything was just an illusion. If they could not even obtain a slot, they could forget about entering Ancestor Dragon City. After entering Ancestor Dragon City, they would leave that Xiao Chen and the other competitors far behind. In the mission hall, Vice Hall Master Li personally led Xiao Chen in through a secret passageway. No one knew about it. With the Law Enforcement Hall's Vice Hall Master Li leading the way, the manager of the mission hall personally received Xiao Chen in fear and trepidation. What high-quality missions are there recently? Let Xiao Chen look through them. Vice Hall Master Li said indifferently. Vice Hall Master Li said indifferently. The mission hall's elder looked at Xiao Chen, feeling greatly startled. Isn't this the person who caused trouble at the foot of the mountain and got taken away? Why did the Law Enforcement Hall's Vice Hall Master personally bring him over in the blink of an eye? The Mission Hall's Vice Hall Master felt somewhat confused. However, since Vice Hall Master Li gave him instructions, he naturally had to obey. This is the list of recent missions. Take a look and let me know if there are any suitable ones. Xiao Chen received the mission list and carefully looked through it. There was a total of 7 Rank 1 missions. Rank 1 was the highest. Above Rank 1 were Transcendent Rank 1 and Absolute Rank 1. Those were issued to the sect elders, and required the strength of a sovereign personage to accept them. Xiao Chen's gaze focused on the Rank 1 missions. Soon he locked on to 4 Rank 1 missions. 2 of them were assassination missions. One was to search for the Blazing Sun Heart in Blazing Sun Valley, which one could obtain by killing the Blazing Sun Berserk apes in Blazing Sun Valley. The last was a Rank 1 mission. Of the 4 missions, helping the Dragon's Gate take back its lost base in the underground world was the most complicated and the highest. However, the reward was extremely bountiful. A total of 20,000 primeval heavenly pills. The first 3 Rank 1 missions also had bountiful rewards, at least 8,000 primeval heavenly pills. These are the 4 Rank 1 missions. Wait, that's not right. I seem to have to take on some other missions before I can fulfill the quota set by the sect. Just give me a few Rank 7 missions. Xiao Chen made his choice and handed the mission list to the other party. What? You want to take on 4 Rank 1 missions? No way, no way. The mission hall's manager shook his head and said, absolutely not. The Rank 1 missions themselves require one to be a Holy Venerate. Furthermore, 2 people need to work together to take them. Letting you take them alone is already showing mercy. To think that you want to take on 4 Rank 1 missions alone. What about the other core disciples? Humph. If this old man says it's fine, then it's fine. Stop being so long-winded. Since this little brother of mine chose these 4 missions, then these 4 missions it is. When Vice Hall Master Li heard the word no way, he became angry. After all, he had personally sent someone over. To think that Xiao Chen did not give him any face at all. Xiao Chen's furious voice was accompanied by his dragon might, scaring the mission hall's manager. The manager felt very bitter in his heart. This was the person in charge of the blood dragon guards. He simply could not afford to offend him. Sure. However, I'll say this first. You will have to bear the punishment for failing the mission. Don't blame me for not warning you. The punishment for failing is much heavier than you imagine. The manager did not dare to offend Vice Hall Master Li, so he could only vent his anger on Xiao Chen. Since I already made my choice, I naturally know the consequences. That's more like it. Let me take a look at the mission list. Vice Hall Master Li received the mission list and took a look. Then his expression changed slightly. None of them were easy to complete. Of the 2 assassination missions, one was to eliminate a group of bandits that had been killing people and robbing their goods in the Divine Dragon Empire for many years. There was a total of 18 people in this group of bandits, who called themselves the Demonic Cloud Mountain 18 Great Bandits. All of them were holy venerates. Their lair, the Demonic Cloud Mountain 18 Great Bandits, had been refined into an inherited Dao tool that could hide in the starry heavens at any time. Every time a sovereign personage went to kill them, they would flee far away. When the sovereign personage experts left, they would find a random place to hide. They killed people to snatch their treasures and resources. Their methods were extremely cruel. The number of dragon race martial artists that died in their hands, and the number of dragon race forces that were destroyed was unknown. The Dragon's Gate had been troubled by this group of crafty demonic cloud bandits for many years, giving them a headache. The second assassination mission was an assassination mission. Recently, a demonic Dao expert appeared in Yunyang province. This expert specialized in killing dragon race experts and absorbing the special dragon souls of dragon race cultivators to refine the demonic dragon pennant. His movements were mysterious, and his methods were even crueler. All the people he killed were dragon race experts. After they died, he extracted their souls and drained them of their dragon blood. The dragon race bloodline had an extremely strong life force. The dragon race's souls were even more tyrannical, which would be of great help in refining the demonic dragon pennant. Yunyang province was the red dragon race's territory. Several red dragon race holy venerate experts had already died at the hands of this demonic Dao cultivator. This attracted the attention of the Dragon's Gate, and they sent it to the 7 outer palaces of the Dragon's Gate as a rank 1 mission. Since this demonic Dao cultivator dared to come to the Divine Dragon Empire alone, it proved that he was very confident and strong. The third mission, Blazing Sun Valley, was a dangerous land. Although the Blazing Sun Berserk ape was strong, it was still a ferocious beast, after all. The risk of this mission could be controlled. As for the fourth mission, Vice Hall Master Li shook his head slightly. The underground world was simply too deep. The missions that could become rank 1 missions were definitely not easy. The rewards depended on how much effort one put in. The Dragon's Gate would not give one primeval heavenly pills for nothing. The price would definitely be equal. Vice Hall Master Li frowned and said, "Brother Xiao Chun, isn't this mission a little inappropriate? The risk is too high. The mission has already been accepted. If you give up, it will be considered a failure." The manager also had a temper in his heart. He walked over and handed the mission card to Xiao Chun. He smiled coldly in his heart. It is too late to be afraid now. Xiao Chun received the mission card calmly and smiled. It's fine. I have my own plans. Without sufficient primeval heavenly pills, Xiao Chun would not be able to raise his cultivation quickly while he was a late-stage star venerate. He would not be able to enter Ancestor Dragon City. Remaining in this Heaven Dragon Palace was just waiting for death, waiting to be defeated by the people of the other outer palaces. Either way, he would die. He might as well accept the mission and gamble. Furthermore, Xiao Chun still had many trump cards. While it was inconvenient to use them in the sect, there were no restrictions once he left the sect. Xiao Chun felt somewhat confident of completing these missions. Little brother, since you have your own plans, I will not say anything more. Remember to rush back in 2 months. Otherwise, you will miss out on the Heaven Class Core Disciple competition, and you will suffer a great loss. The Heaven Class Core Disciple slot will definitely be mine. Many thanks, Big Brotherly. The mission hall manager grumbled in his heart. Whether Xiaochen could return alive was still a problem. To think that Xiaochen still wanted to become a heaven-class core disciple. He really did not know his limits. Chapter 1890. Xiaochen accepted a total of 10 missions, mainly because of the sect rules. Core disciples had to complete 3 missions every month. Aside from the 4 rank 1 missions, the rest were all rank 7 missions. As Xiaochen held the mission card, he carefully analyzed each mission for a long time, forming a plan in his heart. He had only 2 months. Many of the 10 missions clashed with each other. One was in the south, and the other was in the north. Even if he could use transportation formations, it would take a long time. After thinking for a while, Xiaochen decided to hire someone to complete the 6 rank 7 missions. If he had time, he would definitely do it himself. However, the rewards of these rank 7 missions could not compare to the time required. Xiaochen felt that the losses outweighed the gains. He could only pay for the primeval heavenly pills himself and hire cultivators outside to do it. This was simple. The Divine Dragon Empire definitely did not have only cultivators in the sections. There were many other factions. Spending some primeval heavenly pills would cause many factions to fight over these missions. As for the remaining 4 rank 1 missions, the order in which they were completed was also very important. I should go and deal with this demonic Dao cultivator first. To think that he dares to use the blood and souls of dragon race cultivators to cultivate a demonic Dao cultivation technique and refine a ghost pennant. This is simply unforgivable. Rage flashed in Xiaochen's heart. He always felt that the current demonic Dao sects and cultivators had reached an extreme. This kind of extreme was very terrifying. If left unchecked, not only would they destroy themselves, but they would also destroy the foundation of the entire world. For the sake of strength, they would do anything. They would even lay their hands on ordinary people, even doing something as heartless as using the souls of infants. In comparison, although the righteous Dao sects had many hypocrites and people who killed and robbed, they rarely made a move on ordinary people. It was even more impossible for them to make a move on infants or pregnant women. When demonic Dao cultivators reached the Holy Venerate realm, they would be known as demonic venerates. Xiaochen's target this time was known as demonic venerate Mu Yun. The Divine Dragon Empire had 7 provinces, each with 100 counties. Each county was as large as First Senior Sisters. The Red Dragon race governed Yunyang province. In the Yunyang state, there was a huge desert called the Violent Flame Desert. This desert was unusually hot. It was an excellent experiential training ground for fire-attributed dragon race cultivators. Most of the red dragons were fire elemental and had fiery temperaments. A person's temper was like an unstable dynamite. When they were angry, they would explode with a loud bang, causing people to feel extremely terrified. The blazing light from the blazing sun was a natural treat for the red dragon race cultivators. Just staying in the desert for a day would benefit them immensely. The Red Dragon Palace disciples frequently roamed Violent Flame Desert, hunting ferocious beasts, searching for fortuitous encounters, and practicing cultivation techniques. The place was extraordinarily bustling. However, right now, the lively atmosphere of the Violent Flame Desert was filled with grief and anger. 3 months ago, Devil Sovereign Mo Yun suddenly appeared in this desert and started a massacre. Hundreds of the Red Dragon Palace disciples had already fallen victim to Xiaochen. Their blood was drained, and their corpses laid out in the desert. They looked like dried corpses, dying miserable deaths. The most hateful thing was that this demonic venerate Mu Yin was extremely arrogant. He purposely laid a trap and lured out several core disciples. After killing a holy venerate of the Red Dragon race, who had gotten careless, Xiaochen's strength soared in the past 3 months, becoming increasingly terrifying. While in Violent Flame Desert, Xiaochen looked at the intelligence reports and calmly analyzed the situation. The Red Dragon race possessed the Divine Dragon bloodline. After advancing to Holy Venerate, the power of their bloodline had already developed significantly. Xiaochen was not an ordinary Holy Venerate. For demonic Venerate Mu Yin to be able to kill several core disciples, he definitely had a trump card that no one knew about. The most recent murder happened 7 days ago. To think that this fellow still has not left. He must have cultivated a demonic Dao cultivation technique or a ghost pennant to a critical juncture. Once he breaks through, he will be even more horrifying and difficult to deal with. Xiaochen frowned slightly. He could no longer analyze demonic venerate Mu Yun's strength based on the intelligence reports from 3 months ago. This mission was somewhat thorny. However, thorny was interesting. If it were ordinary, there would not be any challenge. Let me see how strong this demonic venerate Mu Yun is. Let's go and meet up with the others first. The Dragon's Gate distributed this mission to the 7 outer palaces. Someone from each outer palace could go and accept it. Of course, only one person could complete the mission. Whoever obtained demonic venerate Mu Yun's head would complete the mission and obtain the reward. One could communicate with others through the mission card. One could hear the voices of the other people accepting the mission and obtain information. 3 days later, in the depths of Violent Flame Desert, 6 dragon race cultivators gathered on a sand dune. Among them, there were 3 from the Red Dragon Palace. Based on their attire, Xiaochen could determine that the other 3 were from the Blue Dragon Palace, the Silver Dragon Palace, and the White Dragon Palace. Of the 7 outer palaces, aside from the Golden Dragon Palace and the Green Dragon Palace, everyone accepted the mission. Although it was a rank 1 mission, it was not guaranteed that someone would accept it. It was normal that no one from the 2 dragon palaces had accepted it. Only one person can take on this mission. To think that your Red Dragon Palace sent out 3 people. It looks like you are truly angry. The youth in the Blue Dragon Palace's uniform said as he looked at the Red Dragon race trio. It doesn't matter. It's fine as long as they die at the hands of our Red Dragon clan. The leader of the Red Dragon clan was a muscular young man in a white robe with flame patterns on it. His voice was filled with suppressed rage. This mission was a humiliation to the Red Dragon Palace. The Red Dragon Palace did not intend to get the Dragon's Gate's help at all, wanting to kill demonic venerate Mu Yun on their own. However, after the upper echelon of Ancestor Dragon City's Dragon's Gate evaluated demonic venerate Mu Yun's strength, they still sent the mission to the 7 outer palaces. If we run into demonic venerate Mu Yun, we can just attack him ourselves. After we kill him, we do not need Mu Yun's head, the leader of the Red Dragon clan cultivators said seriously. Rage flashed in the eyes of the Red Dragon Palace's leader as he said sullenly. The 3 core disciples of the Blue Dragon Palace, the Silver Dragon Palace, and the White Dragon Palace exchanged glances, feeling helpless. The Red Dragon race seemed to be xenophobic. Their words did not sound very pleasant. The core disciples of the 6 outer palaces all had their own pride, as they possessed the divine dragon bloodline. Murongyan, aren't your words a little overboard? Although you are hailed as an unparalleled genius of the Red Dragon Palace, there is no need to look down on us like that, right? The Silver Dragon race core disciple, Yun Tianhe, said indifferently with a slight frown. If you feel that we are going overboard, you can leave now. The Red Dragon race does not need your help. The 3 of us will give you the reward for the mission. We will not let you make this trip for nothing. Murongyan did not appreciate the offer at all. His tone was filled with hostility. The Blue Dragon race core disciple smiled bitterly and shook his head slightly. Then he patted Yun Tianhe's shoulder to stop him from continuing. Changfeng, on account of you, I will not lower myself to his level. The rage in Yun Tianhe's eyes had yet to fade. Murongyan's words were simply too overbearing. However, the Red Dragon bloodline was extremely hot-tempered. If they continued arguing, they would definitely end up fighting. Someone is coming. Just at this moment, the only woman in the team, the young woman from the White Dragon Palace, raised her head slightly and looked into the distance. The others also sensed someone flying over from the mission cards. I wonder if it is from the Golden Dragon Palace or the Green Dragon Palace. If it is a Golden Dragon Palace core disciple, then this mission is in the bag. If it is a Green Dragon Palace core disciple, that is fine. At the very least, there is no need to worry about injuries or the corrosion of the demonic chi. The 3 discussed softly. As they spoke, they felt interested in this final person. However, as that figure approached, The expressions of the 3 red dragon race cultivators turned increasingly unsightly. Yin Tianhe and the other 2 also showed strange expressions, feeling somewhat flabbergasted. Damn. This is never-ending. It is one thing for the people of the Blue Dragon Palace, the Silver Dragon Palace, and the White Dragon Palace. Now even a mixed blood dragon is here to join in the fun. What do they take our Red Dragon Palace for? Morong Yan's rage completely erupted. Boom. A terrifying, scorching aura burst forth. Morong Yan's figure flashed as he turned into a flame and charged out, moving as fast as a meteor. Whoosh. The Blue Dragon Palace core disciple frowned slightly. He leaped up and blocked Morong Yan at the critical moment. Situ Changfeng, what are you trying to do? Morong Yan showed an irritable expression on his face. Clearly he was in a rage. Situ Changfeng's expression remained calm as he said in an amiable manner. Morong Yan, no matter what, one more person means one more force. Why the need to reject him like this? There is no need. Humph. The 2 of you, tell that mixed blood dragon to scram. If he does not, blast him out. Before Situ Changfeng could finish speaking, Morong Yan snorted coldly and got the other 2 red dragon race core disciples to chase away Xiao Chun. Situ Changfeng sighed, and decisively turned around to meet up with Xiao Chun. Situ Changfeng, stay here and mind your own business. However, Morong Yan did not give Situ Changfeng this opportunity. He directly punched at the turning Situ Changfeng. When Morong Yan punched, intense flames surged into the sky. A boundless sea of fire burned behind him. The boundless mysterious phenomenon of fire looked as terrifying as lava from hell. Although Situ Changfeng wanted to, he could not. He could only turn around and fight, delayed by Morong Yan. I'm afraid this person is going to be unlucky. The Silver Dragon Palace's Yin Tianhe looked at the distant Xiao Chun and said indifferently to the young White Dragon race girl. The 2 of them did not want to interfere in this matter. A mixed blood dragon was not worth their time. Chapter 1891. Xiao Chun had rushed all the way to the rendezvous point on the mission card. In order not to delay others, he had rushed at full speed. When Xiao Chun approached, he saw 2 people flying out of a distant sand dune, charging at him. 2 people fought on the sand dune. Even from a distance, Xiao Chun could feel their horrifying auras. Before Xiao Chun could understand what was going on, 2 furious shouts rang out. Where did this mixed blood dragon come from? Scram. This is the matter of our Red Dragon Palace. It is not your mixed blood dragon palace's turn to make a move. If you still don't scram, we will make a move. The 2 Red Dragon Palace core disciples unleashed their dragon might, pressing towards Xiao Chun. Rumble. Formless might and might immediately caused the surface of the violent flame desert to churn like waves. Xiao Chun's face sank. Just as the 2 dragon might approached, he landed firmly on the ground, and his dragon might surged out. Bang. Amid the loud rumbles, the surging desert dust suddenly exploded as the dragon might clashed with each other. It was like a sandstorm that soared into the sky. An enormous murderous cloud filled the air, traversing the heavens and covering the sun. You dare to retaliate? You are reckless. The 2 Red Dragon Palace core disciples raged. Their holy venerate wills surged out, pressing down on Xiao Chun. Under the pressure of the 2 holy venerate wills, the desert for 5,000 kilometers around immediately exploded apart. Many cracks spread out for 500 kilometers, looking like a spiderweb. However, Xiao Chun had already turned into a bolt of lightning and flashed over. His cultivation was his greatest weakness. The thing he feared the most was clashing with the holy venerate will. The pressure from the holy venerate will would weaken his strength significantly. Even if Xiao Chun forcibly scattered the holy venerate will, it would only last for a moment. Fortunately, he was fast enough to prevent the holy venerate will from suppressing him. The 2 Red Dragon Palace core disciples were also hot-tempered. The moment they attacked, they immediately used their holy venerate wills. When the 2 saw Xiao Chun dodge, they turned into a bolt of lightning and charged at the Red Dragon Palace core disciples. The 2 snorted coldly and attacked, sending out their fire Dao might. The 2 fire Dao might layered over each other and surged out, trying to force Xiao Chun out. Bang! Who knew? The lightning did not come out. Instead, A lightning dragon that was even more violent than the flames pierced through the Dao Might and flew out. The two of them were shocked and hastily retreated. However, Xiao Chen's thunderous attack had already begun. The dragon tail covered in electric light swept out, filling the sky with yellow sand. The yellow sand in the violent flame desert looked like sparks. The sandstorm created by the dragon tail was like a flaming tornado. The two retreating red dragon race cultivators each sent out a punch, trying to block the force of the dragon tail. However, the two of them had still somewhat underestimated the strength contained in the dragon tail. Blood leaked out from the corner of their mouths as they were violently knocked back, landing miserably on a sand dune. The Silver Dragon Palace's Yin Tianhe and the young white dragon revealed shocked expressions. The two of them were core disciples of the Red Dragon Palace, yet they were knocked back. Boom! What a strong dragon aura! Following that, the roaring lightning dragon appeared in the two's vision. The berserk dragon might made the two's expressions grave as they raised their guard. Whoosh! Xiao Chen appeared and landed on a sand dune. Then he looked at the two Red Dragon Palace core disciples. Xiao Chen raised his head and looked at Murong Yan and Situ Changfeng, who had stopped fighting in the air. Finally, he fixed his gaze on Murong Yan. This person should be the one who gave the order. Xiao Chen's calm gaze instantly turned somewhat cold. Damn it! You mixed blood dragon, how dare you injure me? Boom! Murong Yan raged in the air. He had not expected his two junior brothers to suffer at the hands of a mixed blood dragon, so he immediately wanted to make a move. However, Murong Yan did not expect Xiao Chen to take the initiative to charge at him after he determined his target. There was no time to think. After Xiao Chen charged over, he immediately attacked. His vital qi surged as he threw a punch. Murong Yan swallowed the words that he could not say with much difficulty. Then he had to deal with Xiao Chen's attack. Bang! 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 The two figures in the air quickly clashed, losing their momentum in one move. Murong Yan continuously retreated. After 100 moves, he shouted and forced Xiao Chen back. Whoosh! Murong Yan landed on the ground and took 10 steps back. Sand and dust exploded in the surrounding desert, surging into the clouds like waves. The ground sank by more than 1 kilometer. After the two exchanged moves, the surroundings changed drastically. The two exchanged moves so quickly that the others could not react. By the time they reacted, it was already too late to stop them. Now the two separated after much difficulty. Situ Changfeng and Yin Tianhe attacked at the same time, blocking the two. This brother, although the Red Dragon Palace has offended you, we are in the same boat now. There is no need to get angry. If we work together, we will both benefit. If we fight, we will both end up injured. That will just benefit demonic venerate Mu Yun. Situ Changfeng advised softly as he appeared before Xiao Chen. Yin Tianhe stopped Murong Yan from continuing to attack. Then he mocked coldly. Murong Yan, you are really incredible. I didn't see you kill demonic venerate Mu Yun. Yet you are flaunting your prowess. Murong Yan smiled coldly and said, That is because I did not make a move. You cannot even deal with a Heaven Dragon Palace disciple. Yet you want to kill demonic venerate Mu Yin? You sure talk big. Yin Tianhe retorted, not giving Murong Yan any face at all. Xiao Chen looked at Situ Changfeng. The other party should be a blue dragon race core disciple, as he gave off a peaceful aura of wind. The blue dragon race was good at dancing with the wind and clouds. They were also known as the dragons of the sky. Just as Xiao Chen was about to say something, two red dragon race disciples rushed over from behind and headed for Murong Yan. Senior brother, demonic venerate Mu Yin killed someone else? The two red dragon race disciples sent a voice projection. Murong Yan's expression changed drastically. He could not be bothered to continue fighting, quickly leading the two away. Qiu Xiuying and Yin Tianhe arrived beside Xiao Chen. When they sized up Xiao Chen, they felt shocked. A disciple from the Heaven Dragon Palace actually dared to attack Murong Yan. This was simply incredible. Let me make introductions. This is the Silver Dragon Palace's Yin Tianhe. This is the White Dragon Palace's Miss Qiu Xiuying. Situ Changfeng gave a simple introduction. Yin Tianhe and Qiu Xiuying nodded slightly in greeting. Xiao Chen. Xiao Chun responded and gave his name. Murong should have obtained demonic venerate Mu Yun's whereabouts. From the looks of it, he intends to act alone. From the looks of it, he intends to go alone. Yun Tianhe said indifferently as he looked in the direction Murong left, his tone containing dissatisfaction. Let's go and take a look. We all have a share in this mission. Qiu Xiuying said softly. Qiu Xiuying said softly, and was the first to follow. Obviously, she did not want to miss this mission with rich rewards. Yun Tianhe followed close behind, not wanting to be too slow. Brother Xiao, do you want to go together? Situ Changfeng invited. This demonic venerate Mu Yun is not someone we can easily deal with alone. Let's go then. Xiao Chun did not overthink. It was fine as long as he could complete the mission. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 4 hours later, Xiao Chun and Situ Changfeng sensed the dense aura of a demonic Dao cultivator. When they looked up, sinister winds filled the distant sky. All sorts of terrifying mysterious phenomena appeared continuously. There were raging flames soaring into the sky, wailing malicious spirits, and all sorts of ferocious beasts from hell. Quick, let's go. They are already fighting. Situ Changfeng's expression changed slightly as he quickened his pace. Xiao Chun followed unhurriedly. After a while, the two saw Qiu Xiuying and Yun Tianhe watching from a tall sand dune. After the four gathered, they looked down and saw Murong leading 2 Red Dragon Race Core disciples in a huge battle with a black-robed, middle-aged cultivator. Chapter 1892. The moment the blood prison demonic dragon appeared, Murong group immediately fell into a disadvantage. This demonic dragon's dragon might was extremely frightening. It was unknown how many experts' dragon souls it had absorbed to achieve such an effect. The strangest thing was the blood horn on the demon dragon's head. It was bright and glistening. It didn't match his black torso at all. Just looking at it would make people feel uncomfortable. Ah! They are all holy venerates with grade 5 divine dragon bloodlines. With the blood and souls of the 3 of you, my blood-held demonic dragon can be considered a success. I can leave this damned place now. The demon cloud venerate laughed maniacally. Occasionally, he made a move to harass Murong and the other 2, making things even more difficult for them. Just the blood prison demonic dragon alone was already a headache to deal with. Blood prison demonic dragon? This person is a cultivator from one of the 10 great devil sects, the Blood Prison Devil Hall. He isn't a rogue cultivator. Situ Changfeng stared at the demonic dragon as a trace of worry flashed between his brows. This time, things were going to be troublesome. A good opportunity. This is the best opportunity to kill this demon cloud overlord. The eyes of Yun Tianhe and Qiu Xiuying lit up. They could clearly tell that the blood prison demonic dragon was demonic venerate Mu Yun's greatest trump card. That demonic dragon's strength had far surpassed his own. It would definitely take a lot of effort to control it. So. The 2 did not hesitate to attack decisively, charging at that demonic venerate Mu Yun. Situ Changfeng frowned slightly. He wanted to stop Xiao Chun but did not say anything in the end. He only looked at Xiao Chun and said, Brother Xiao, I think this demonic venerate Mu Yun still has trump cards. If Brother Yun and Lady Qiu run into trouble later, I'll have to trouble you to save them. Xiao Chun could not help criticizing demonic venerate Mu Yun in his heart. These 2 were clearly greedy and rash, underestimating him. If there was any danger he could not blame anyone else, so he had no obligation to help. However, since Situ Changfeng said so, Xiao Chun nodded and said, I will do my best while ensuring my own safety. That's all I need to say. Situ Changfeng smiled faintly and leaped into the air. Wind and clouds gathered around him. In an instant, the gentle Situ Changfeng seemed to have become a completely different person. Looking disdainfully at the world, looking down on the world. Wind and clouds rose together, and only I am supreme. With a furious bellow, he reached out and grabbed the blood prison demon dragon's neck. Dragon's Gate secret technique, dragon seizing hand. Situ Changfeng, who was in the air, was incomparably insignificant compared to the blood prison demonic dragon. His aura expanded infinitely. Although his body was small, the entire world could become his body. With the sky as his will, with the clouds as his body, with the wind as his wings. Situ Changfeng's attack was boundlessly imposing. As the blood-prisoned demonic dragon leaped high into the air, his attack struck. Standing on the dragon's back, he pressed down on the blood-prisoned demon dragon's head and pinned it to the ground. Murong Yan and the other two quickly moved back, finally getting a chance to catch their breath. Wind God Silver Wing Palm. A pair of silver dragon wings suddenly appeared on Yun Tianhe's back. As the dragon wings flapped, the silver light of the great path behind him immediately expanded until it covered the entire sky behind him. When Xiao Chun threw a palm strike, thousands of silver palm imprints carrying the rage of a strong wind flew towards demonic venerate Mu Yun. Sword light like leaves, falling leaves like ice. Ice falling leaves sword. Qiu Xiuying remained expressionless as she swung her sword. The sword intent filling the air froze into ice, turning into fallen leaves drifting in the air. A cold light as resplendent as a star appeared at the tip of Qiu Xiuying's sword as it headed for demonic venerate Mu Yun's chest. The two's auras flourished, and they attacked decisively, preparing to deal with demonic venerate Mu Yun in one strike. Do you think that I did not discover you? Indeed, the Dragon's Gate's outer palace is filled with a bunch of fools. Ha ha. Since you are here, then there is no need to leave. Great sun like blood. Demonic venerate Mu Yun had long been prepared to face the two's attacks. As he laughed maniacally, his skin suddenly ruptured, revealing a ferocious expression. Blood slowly flew out of demonic venerate Mu Yun's body drop by drop. Then it gathered into a huge ball of blood encasing him. Whoosh! The ball of blood grew increasingly resplendent and intense, dazzling and piercing. The terrifying demonic might actually contained an aura that Yun Tianhe and Qiu Xiuying were familiar with. The aura of their race. This is dragon blood. Boom! The ball of blood exploded like the sun. Be it the thousands of palm imprints or the ice sword chi filling the air, they all shattered. Yun Tianhe and Qiu Xiuying, who sensed that something was wrong, retreated one step too late. The scarlet light knocked them back, severely injuring them. The scarlet light scattered, and demonic venerate Mu Yun laughed maniacally. You are still too inexperienced to fight with me. All of you. I will drain you of your blood and trample on your souls. I will make you suffer so much pain that you wish for death. Ha ha ha. Demonic venerate Mu Yun ferociously waved the ghost pennant in his hand, and many miniature demonic dragons came out of it. The might and aura of these demonic dragons were much weaker than that of the blood prison demonic dragon. However, there were many of them. A sinister wind blew behind demonic venerate Mu Yun, producing ghostly wails and wolf howls. More than 1,000 miniature demonic dragons flew out and surrounded Yun Tianhe and Qiu Xiuying. The severely injured two could not catch their breath before they fell into the encirclement, overwhelmed. Damn it! Yun Tianhe's face twisted in extreme rage. The dragon wings behind him flapped continuously, but he could not do anything. On the other side, Qiu Xiuying's situation was not much better. When Situ Changfeng, who had captured the blood prison demonic dragon, saw this scene, he felt greatly startled. After observing for a while, he quickly shouted, Miss Qiu, Brother Yin, the two of you quickly regroup. If the two of you work together and use your sword intent to open a path and strong winds to shock the enemy, you will definitely be able to escape. Yun Tianhe and Qiu Xiuying, who were fighting on their own, startled to their senses. That was indeed the case, so they quickly did their best to regroup. Just take care of yourself, you fool. Demonic venerate Mu Yun raged. Taking advantage of Situ Changfeng's distraction, the blood prison demonic dragon roared ferociously and struggled free. The blood prison demonic dragon raised its head and sword, ruthlessly flinging Situ Changfeng away. Roar! The scarlet dragon horn on the blood prison demonic dragon's head pierced towards the tumbling Situ Changfeng at lightning speed. Connected cloud steps. In the time it took for a spark to fly, flower-like clouds suddenly appeared under Situ Changfeng's feet, allowing him to move in the air. As Situ Changfeng floated around, he continuously attacked. Palm winds rumbled like thunder, shaking the surroundings and knocking back the blood prison demonic dragon. Dragon's Gate secret technique, heaven burning rage. Suddenly, A ferocious roar came from below. Murong Yen, who had rested for a while, attacked again. With a wave of his hand, the sky was instantly set ablaze. Blazing flames spread out for 1,000 miles, as if they were going to burn through the sky. Pa! The flames formed a huge palm in the sky and ruthlessly smashed the blood prison demonic dragon into the ground. Situ Changfeng took the opportunity to land. Thank you for saving me, Brother Murong. After Situ Changfeng landed, he felt lucky. Others did not know about the danger from earlier. If he was pierced by the blood horn of the demonic dragon, he would immediately fall into an illusion. His soul would be without a place to rely on, and even a deity would not be able to save him. Murong Yen remained expressionless as he looked at the blazing blood prison demonic dragon, which was smashed to the ground by the colossal palm. He frowned slightly. Surprisingly, it was only a light wound. This demonic dragon was not made of flesh and blood, so the damage that the dragon flames could do to it was limited. This won't do. We have to instantly kill this blood prison demonic dragon. Situ, if the four of us activate our great desolate Ian bloodlines at the same time, we won't be able to kill this blood prison demonic dragon. If I use my holy venerate will to suppress it, I can instantly kill this blood prison demonic dragon. Then it will be easy to capture and kill that demonic venerate Mu Yun. Determination flashed in Murong Yan's eyes as he said sullenly. No. The only thing we can do now is to think about how to leave. We do not hold any advantage. Since this demonic venerate Mu Yun dared to come, he must have thought of a way to deal with the great desolate Ian bloodline. Situ Changfeng analyzed calmly. Once we stake everything on this, there will be no way out. While the blood prison demonic dragon is injured, let's save Brother Yun and Miss Chiu and leave first. We are at a disadvantage not because we cannot defeat him. It is just that we know too little about demonic venerate Mu Yun. Next time, we will be prepared. We will be able to take him down easily. Humph! Murong Yen snorted coldly. How did the Blue Dragon Palace produce a cowardly person like you? It is just death. Why should the people of my Red Dragon Palace fear death? Let's attack. Yes, senior brother. Boom. The 3 Red Dragon Palace core disciples suddenly burst out with terrifying dragon might. The Overlord-class bloodline from the ancient Great Desolate Ian reappeared. The 3 burst out with a red light that rivaled the blazing sun. Their eyes looked like they were painted with a golden light. Damn demonic dragon! Suffer the rage of the Red Dragon race! Murong Yen roared, and his forehead swelled up. A terrifying holy venerate will, supported by the Great Desolate Ian bloodline, pressed down on the demonic dragon like it was solid. 3 overwhelming wills carrying an unparalleled dragon might instantly encase the blood prison demonic dragon before ruthlessly pressing down. Fiery light spread out, and everything within 5,000 kilometers collapsed. 5,000 kilometers away, yellow sand surged like a tsunami in all directions, surging towards this place. Countless fireballs floated in the sky, swaying back and forth. Senior brother, the dragon might of that blood prison demonic dragon is gone. The 2 Red Dragon Palace core disciples exclaimed loudly, rejoicing when they sensed that extremely hateful demonic Dao dragon might vanish from their bodies. Good. Let's pursue this victory. Before the great desolate Ian dragon might vanishes, we will deal with this demonic venerate and take revenge for our Red Dragon Palace brothers. Murong Yen shouted. Then he led the 2 towards demonic venerate Mu Yun. Stupid lowly dragon. Demonic venerate Mu Yin revealed a mocking smile. Then he took out an evil talisman made of dragon blood and shot it over. After the dragon blood talisman landed, the blood prison demonic dragon immediately burned with a large scarlet light, turning it into a scarlet sea. Malicious spirits filled the sea, making it look like hell. Roar! Waves surged, and the blood prison demonic dragon was reborn in blood. Not only did it recover from all its injuries, but it even recovered to its peak even stronger. How can this be? Murong Yen and the 2 Red Dragon Palace core disciples were greatly startled. Despair appeared in their golden eyes. Ha ha! I already said that none of you can leave today. You 3 little bugs, obediently lie down and die. As demonic venerate Mu Yun laughed maniacally, the reborn blood prison demonic dragon gave off an even stronger dragon might. It opened its mouth and spat out a clump of filthy corrosive flame, looking like it would swallow up the three stunned people. Sky, please protect my race. A golden light flashed in Sita Changfeng's eyes as he instantly came to life. Wind and clouds gathered around him as he held his hands in front, palms facing the sky. His veritable essence energy and soul energy drained continuously. A blue light burned in his palms. Vaguely, a strand of an ancestor dragon's dragon might traveled through time and space, coming from the distant past to hear a junior's call. 3 invisible palms instantly tossed Morong Yan, and the 2 red dragon palace core disciples tens of thousands of meters into the sky, avoiding the fatal corrosive flame, and leaving the battlefield. Damn it! 3 managed to escape. However, your bloodline alone is enough to deal with 3 of them. Demonic venerate Mu Yun said as he looked at the incredibly weak Situ Changfeng after executing his secret technique. Just as demonic venerate Mu Yun was about to make a move, his expression changed slightly as he sensed an extremely weak killing chi. Then he turned his head and looked in Xiao Chen's direction. Insignificant mixed blood dragon. I did not go and look for you. But you actually dared to come and overturn the sky. Demonic venerate Mu Yun said as he looked at the incredibly weak Situ Changfeng after executing his secret technique. Where is he? Demonic venerate Mu Yun suddenly discovered that Xiao Chun, whom he sensed earlier, had vanished. He could not help feeling bewildered. Die. Firmament's rage. It turned out that Xiao Chun had already turned into a lightning bolt and entered the clouds. Then he descended from the sky and executed Firmament's rage. The fingers of the huge burning palm were like sabers. A boundless saber intent spread out from the palm. When the palm landed, it completely encased demonic venerate Mu Yun. Firmament's rage. The Firmament's rage that has already been cultivated to the second layer. Pleasant surprise flashed in the fatigued Situ Changfeng's eyes. Indeed, I did not misjudge you, brother Xiao Chen. Chapter 1893. Xiao Chen found the right opportunity and struck like a bolt of lightning. It was effective in an instant. With one look, it was clear that this demonic Dao cultivator was good at controlling all sorts of demonic creatures. He had strong soul energy, but his physical defense was relatively weak. Furthermore, with Xiao Chen's Firmament's rage, even with defensive Dao tools and secret techniques, Xiao Chen's Firmament's rage would not be able to withstand it. Even if all of them were hit, it would be hard for him to escape death. Boom. As demonic venerate Mu Yun watched in despair, Xiao Chen's palm strike landed. The saber intent covering his palm instantly riddled his body with holes. The power of thunder exploded violently, and the giant palm fell with a loud rumble. His entire body was smashed into nothingness on the spot. Without a head, he could only gather the remnant souls around him as proof that he had completed the mission. However, when Xiao Chen landed on the ground and radiated his soul power, he frowned slightly. No. There wasn't a single remnant soul in the surroundings. It didn't seem like someone had died here. With Xiao Chen's current cultivation, it was impossible that he couldn't find a single remnant soul when he spread out his soul power. There was only one possibility. Demonic venerate Mu Yin was not dead yet. The one he killed was just a clone. The ghost streamer on the ground suddenly flew up, and the blood prison demonic dragon, and many smaller demonic dragons quickly entered the ghost streamer. The ghost streamer moved as fast as lightning, turning into a beam of light and fleeing far away. Boom! A sand dune in the distance exploded. Demonic venerate Mu Yin leaped out and landed on the ghost pennant, quickly fleeing into the distance. So. When Yin Tianhe and the white dragon maiden landed on the ground, they looked deeply at Xiao Chun with lingering fear. When Xiao Chun was trapped earlier, he had a narrow escape. Fortunately, he had received Situ Changfeng's guidance. Otherwise, not to mention escaping, he would not even be able to protect himself. Even when the 5 of them worked together, they could not defeat such a horrifying demonic venerate. Yet the moment Xiao Chen appeared, he scared off demonic venerate Mu Yun. How could they not be shocked? Brother Xiao Chen, thank you for saving me. Situ Changfeng walked over tiredly and thanked him softly. Xiaochen didn't feel good accepting this gratitude. He shook his head and said, "Not really. I'm just doing it for myself. Brother Situ, you don't have to be so polite. I still have to chase after this demonic venerate Mu Yun, so I'll take my leave first." Right after Xiaochen spoke, he did not want to waste any more time. Without waiting for Situyu to reply, he quickly chased after demonic venerate Mu Yun. This fellow is truly abominable. He waited until we fought to the death with demonic venerate Mu Yun before making a move. Now that demonic venerate Mu Yun is injured, he is ungrateful and immediately left. Seeing Xiaochen leave, Yun Tianhe was extremely dissatisfied with the fact that he was trapped. He also wanted to chase after them, but unfortunately, his strength was not enough. However, in his current state, he was incomparably weak. There was no way for him to forcefully chase after them. However, Xiaochen's words were rather interesting. It was as if he had forgotten that he had watched Morong Yen and demonic venerate Mu Yun fight for a long time before deciding to make a move. Situ Changfeng frowned slightly and said, "These are all minor matters. However, although this demonic venerate Mu Yun is injured, it is still very risky to give chase alone. Unfortunately, we still let him escape. If we had detained him earlier, we could have killed him," Qiu Xiuying said with some dissatisfaction as she looked into the distance. Situ Changfeng smiled and said, "There is no need to find it unfortunate. This demonic venerate Mu Yun is not as strong as we imagined. It is just that we do not understand him well enough. The next time we meet him, we just need to recruit a cultivator good at archery and a beast controller. We can easily defeat him. Alternatively, we can recruit a dragon race cultivator good at mental attacks. One of them can defeat him. Where's demonic venerate Mu Yun?" Just at this moment, Morong Yen and his two junior brothers, who had been sent out of the battlefield, rushed over anxiously. Yun Tianhe and Qiu Xiuying glanced at Morong Yen. However, they were not in the mood to bother with him. They closed their eyes and sat down cross-legged to recuperate. Situ Changfeng went over and gave a rough account of what happened. "It's that mixed-blood dragon again." Feeling upset, Morong Yen asked sullenly, "Which direction did he go?" Situ Changfeng felt helpless. After thinking for a while, he pointed in the opposite direction. After him, Morong Yen did not hesitate to lead his two junior brothers in a mad dash, kicking up a trail of sand and dust. Yun Tianhe slowly opened his eyes and looked at the distant Morong Yen. Then he closed his eyes again and said indifferently, "Idiot." At this moment, Xiaochen, who was chasing demonic venerate Mu Yun, stood on a sand dune. When Xiaochen looked into the distance, he could no longer see demonic venerate Mu Yun's figure. There was not even a lingering aura. He truly lives up to being a demon venerate who dared to charge into the divine dragon empire alone. He really has many backup plans. Xiaochen said faintly. He was also a little impressed in his heart. He was cunning enough, had many tricks up his sleeve, and handled matters cautiously. When he escaped, he did not forget to remove the aura he left behind. It was indeed difficult to deal with. However, the more it was so, the more Xiaochen wanted to chase after it. The various signs showed that this demonic venerate Mu Yun was truly injured. The destruction of his clone had significantly affected his main body. Otherwise, he wouldn't have run away. Even if demonic venerate Mu Yun had set up a diversion, he would have left behind some clues to lure his pursuers. If Xiaochen did not deal with demonic venerate Mu Yun while he was injured this time, he would be even harder to deal with next time. Xiaochen took out the death god mask and put it on. Then he closed his eyes and executed the demonic cloud heaven swallowing art with a thought. Whoosh! Demonic clouds filling the sky immediately gathered in the sky, continuously spreading out to the front. As the demonic clouds churned, they covered 500 kilometers in one breath. This was much faster than Xiaochen's movement technique. The demonic clouds in the sky were like Xiaochen's eyes. Everywhere he passed, he could see everything clearly under the demonic clouds. It was even clearer than what one could see with the naked eye. Every grain of sand on the ground could be clearly distinguished. More importantly, these demonic clouds were extremely sensitive to the auras of demonic Dao cultivators. As long as Xiaochen discovered one, he could immediately lock onto the target. As the demonic clouds spread out, the clouds gradually thinned, reducing the drain on veritable essence energy. Although Xiao Chen's veritable essence energy could not cover an entire great realm like the Scarlet Blood Pirate Kings, it was still incredibly dense. However, it could still cover millions of kilometers. Furthermore, Xiao Chen could consume primeval heavenly pills to replenish his drain at any time. Demonic Venerate Mu Yun, who had already fled far away, sensed that there were no pursuers within 5,000 kilometers. Furthermore, Demonic Venerate Mu Yin had completely erased his aura along the way. A holy venerate would not be able to discover any traces at all, unless it was a sovereign personage. However, based on the information that Demonic Venerate Mu Yin obtained, the Dragon's Gate had not raised the rank of the mission to absolute rank yet. That way, no sovereign personage experts would come, and Demonic Venerate Mu Yin could rest easy. Damn it! To think that a mixed-blood dragon spoiled my plans. Demonic Venerate Mu Yin leaped out of the ghost pennant, and cursed as he held the ghost pennant. As Demonic Venerate Mu Yin spoke, he could not help coughing a few times. The destruction of his demonic Dao clone had inflicted significant damage to his main body. Most importantly, his soul energy was damaged, preventing him from maintaining control over the thousands of small demonic dragons, and the blood prison demonic dragon with a horrifying might. If Demonic Venerate Mu Yin persisted, when these demonic creatures saw that he was weakened, they would definitely attack him and destroy him. However, it does not matter. After some time, my blood prison demonic dragon will advance further, and it will be able to materialize in endless hell. At that time, even if a sovereign personage comes, I will not be afraid. When I return to the demon royal halls, my status will be even higher. Demonic Venerate Mu Yin said seriously, a fanatical look flashing in his eyes. That's not right. Why do I feel like someone is targeting me? Suddenly, Demonic Venerate Mu Yin looked up, and was shocked to discover that demonic clouds had gathered above him at some point in time. Someone of the demonic Dao. Demonic Venerate Mu Yin grasped the ghost pennant in his hand tightly with his right hand. His eyes showed uncertainty as he raised his guard. Whoosh! Xiao Chun, who was far away, suddenly opened his eyes. A pair of demonic eyes appeared in the demonic clouds that gathered above Demonic Venerate Mu Yin in the sky. Might I ask which expert you are? Since we are on the same path, why not show yourself? Demonic Venerate Mu Yin asked somewhat nervously, praying that the person who came was not too strong. No one answered him. The pair of eyes that appeared in the demonic clouds glanced at him before vanishing silently. Whoosh! Xiao Chen turned into a flash of lightning and merged with the demonic clouds. His speed immediately increased by more than 100 times. In merely one breath he rushed over. Boom! A bolt of lightning descended from the clouds and struck a sand dune. Then, Xiao Chen appeared on the sand dune and looked coldly at Demonic Venerate Mu Yin. Demonic clouds gathered from all directions, churning like the tide. The demonic clouds became thinner and thicker. The demonic might in the sky slowly strengthened. Under the demonic might, the air turned viscous. No wind could move it. I am the Blood Prison Demonic Palace's Demonic Venerate Mu Yin. Why are you here? If it is for the dragon blood, I can give you half of what I have. Xiao Chen, who wore the death god mask, had his aura isolated. Demonic Venerate Mu Yin could not see through Xiao Chen at all. He only found Xiao Chen mysterious and unfathomable. His expression immediately turned extremely grave. That mask looked exquisite. There were 2 rows of mysterious scriptures on the white mask. With one glance, one found it strange and felt fear in one's heart. If one continued to look, one would feel fear in one's heart, not daring to continue looking. Sir, don't be too greedy. Half of the dragon blood is already my greatest concession. Demonic Venerate Mu Yin snorted coldly, and the ghost pennant in his hand fell heavily. An overwhelming demonic might surged out from his body. I don't want your dragon blood. What do you want? I can give you whatever I can. Everything is negotiable. I'll kill you. When Demonic Venerate Mu Yin heard that, he immediately became enraged. He waved the ghost pennant in his hand and said, "This old man has been enduring for so long. You really think that I am easy to bully? Die. The blood prison demonic dragon darted out of the banner like a bolt of lightning, carrying an even stronger demonic dragon might as it swept towards Xiao Chun. As Xiao Chun sensed the vast demonic clouds in the sky, he could look down on the surroundings without moving. It was a wonderful feeling to look down on the world. Looking at the charging blood prison demonic dragon, Xiao Chun sneered. The Qiongqi ghost streamer appeared in his hand. With a slight wave, Qiongqi, a prehistoric fierce beast, flew out. Soul Tool. Demonic Venerate Mu Yun was startled. In his fluster, he tried to summon back the blood prison demonic dragon. Unfortunately, it was too late. Boom. The blood prison demonic dragon instantly clashed with the great desolate Ian Qiongqi in the air. After clashing for a while, the ferocious beast tore the blood prison demonic dragon into pieces. Demonic Venerate Mu Yun screamed in pain. His complexion paled, devoid of blood. Withdraw. Xiao Chun shouted, not wanting to overuse this Qiongqi ghost streamer. The ferocious beast roared ferociously, shaking the surroundings before reluctantly returning to the banner. Bang! The ferocious beast's roar directly knocked Demonic Venerate Mu Yun into the air. When Demonic Venerate Mu Yun landed on the ground, he secretly held a talisman and silently circulated his secret art, making one last gamble. However, his face still showed horror and despair. As long as this person comes over, I can instantly reverse the situation. I still have a chance. I still have a chance. Whoosh. Clearly, this was just Demonic Venerate Mu Yun's wishful thinking. Then, Xiao Chun took out the God Shadow Bow and used the last of his soul energy to shoot an arrow. The instant Xiao Chun let go, the arrow stabbed into Demonic Venerate Mu Yun's chest, bringing him back to life. Demonic Venerate Mu Yun's meridians shattered, and his soul scattered. His life force drained in that instant. Whoosh! Xiao Chun's figure flashed as he removed his mask. Then he looked at Demonic Venerate Mu Yun expressionlessly. However, he still did not approach. After Xiao Chun verified that Demonic Venerate Mu Yun was truly dead, he walked over and took a look. Then he swung his saber and chopped off Demonic Venerate Mu Yun's head. Xiao Chun successfully completed the first mission. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.